From the land of the five rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
What's going on?
Welcome to the 50-50 Show with PharoahNFL and the Severe Raider. The realest show for Raider Nation. 2 points of view. One verdict. You decide.
What's going on, everybody, man? Appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You already know the drill, man. Appreciate everybody coming through. Like, as usual, we are going live on both our channels, me and Severe. So make sure to hit that like button on both our channels and subscribe and all that good stuff, man. I ain't got to repeat myself. You guys know it. Y'all know what it is. But, hey, we appreciate everybody coming through. We are on time. We are on time today. You know? Hey, man. Y'all should, show some love. You know what I mean? We are making an effort to go on time. We got a special guest backstage. Yes, my guy, Space Beast, already in the building, man. He starts the show off right, man. He says, hey, man, with a super chat, man, that's how you do it, man. I appreciate you, my guy. He says the 5150 show. He said 5150 show. I'm guessing he's trying to say the 50-50 show. Illegally insane in the membrane. I guess he knew what he was talking about. You know that
150.
Yeah, there you go. And that's a dope podcast, by the way, if anybody knows, man. Like, if y'all know, man. 5150, man. But we got one of the best mods in the building right now, Daniel Kim. Appreciate you, my guy. Hey, he's starting off right, man. We got to give him the Raiders salute. Hey, but you know what though? Like, let's actually give him the AP salute, because we finally heard from AP the other day.
Man. We kept AP locked up until after the draft. It was like, bro, you ain't saying nothing until we make these picks.
Man, I don't know. Maybe he had to get his acting. I don't know if he was. We'll save that. We'll save that later in the show, man. We don't want to keep our guests waiting any longer, man. One of the young up and coming Raider content creators out there, man. I'm not gonna waste any time. My guy, Raider Rundown in the building, man. What's good?
What's the deal, man? What's happening, man? Glad y'all got me here on the show, man. Been checking out what y'all been having going on for a long time, man. Y'all got some great shit going on, so I'm glad to join, man, for sure.
Man, appreciate you coming through, man. Hey, look, this is we like to show love to everybody on the Raider as much as we can. We trying to get some people on the show, you know what I mean? And Raider Rundown, you're one of the people that we want to get on, so we appreciate you coming through. But man, how's everything going on your end, man? How's everything going with you?
Man, can't complain. It was just Mother's Day yesterday, man. So happy belated Mother's Day to everybody, and they moms out there. My mom's back in Cali, so at the end of the day, had to send her love. But at the end of the day, just chill, man. Doing good so far. We got some interviews on the way. Chilling with my brothers. Shout out to TRS, man, if they come through as well. And just happy to be here, man, spreading that Raider knowledge at the same time, man, chilling with the bros.
Yeah, man. Hey, the other day I seen that Dylan Lobby interview that you had, undrafted free agent, man. Y'all need to check that out. My guy Raider Rundown had an exclusive interview with the rookie running back Dylan Lobby, a future probably third. Is he going to be the third down running back role? Is he going to have that? And we'll get into that. We'll be talking about that. But that was a great interview. Make sure to check it out on. Was it Sick Podcast with the Las Vegas?
Podcast. Yeah, it's the Sick Podcast, and then just look up Raiders. The Sick Podcast, Raiders. You'll find it right there, man.
Yes, but then for that Raider Rundown, that exclusive content, you want to make sure to get on that YouTube and type in Raider Rundown. You'll find them on there as well, and make sure to like and subscribe, all that good stuff, man. Y'all know how to do it, man. But yeah, man. Man. So let's get into it, man. Let's talk about what's happening recently with the Raiders. We like to just get into the latest and greatest with the Raiders. And the latest and greatest is the rookie mini camp happened a couple of days ago. And we finally heard from, Telesco. I mean, we've been hearing from Telesco, but he's kind of giving us the politically correct answers. Y'all know what it is. But we heard from AP finally. We didn't hear from AP during the draft. All we did was see him with his weird body language in the draft. I don't know. Hey, me and Severe was clowning that, like, man, why he look kind of mad? Why he don't look too excited? There was a moment in time in the third round, second round, where he just walked out. It just looked like he didn't want to give nobody dap or whatever. It was just kind of weird, But
I get that.
Yeah. But let's just start before we hit the rookie minicamp. I want to hear from you, man. I want to actually hear your thoughts, man. What do you think of the offseason so far, all the way up into the draft?
If I'm grading the entire offseason, I'm giving it an A. You know what I mean? Solid A. You feel the needs that you need to fill. We've been screaming for a D tackle for I don't know how long, bro. I feel like for my whole entire existence on Earth, like being just a Raiders fan, like I've just been like, bro, we need a D tackle. We need a D tackle. Like every year it's the same thing. So it's like, okay, finally, you get that. You know what I mean? Now, you can't say from the quarterback standpoint you don't fulfill it, but in a lot of people's eyes, you know what I mean? It's like we didn't really need to go out of our way to secure one. You know what I mean? It's like now you look at the roster being built now in totality, it looks better. You know what I mean? Just all around, more depth, right? In areas that we had no depth to speak of whatsoever. You know what I mean? Now it looks like young, promising stars in areas that can now look like can grow with the team for years and years to come. So I say, like, as far as now putting the roster in place, you know what I mean? Everything is there. It's an A, bro, to me.
Yeah. Nah, okay. That's some high praise. I mean, I know Severe got something to say about that. But
nah, man, look, I'm giving the guest deference today, man. We here for rundown thoughts, man. They know what I think. We here for rundown thoughts today.
He mad at it. I appreciate you, Beast. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Speech checked it. Beast checked it out. I'm sure Raider Nation checked it out as well. But if y'all haven't checked it out, make sure to check out that interview, man. That was dope. But okay, so you give the offseason in totality an A, or are you saying the draft itself an A?
The offseason totality an A. If I had to say the draft itself is a B. The draft itself is like is a B to me. And the only reason I can't really go up to an A is just because in the first round, I like the first round pick now. You feel what I'm saying? But it's still not a need. So at the end of the day, I can't really fully go up to like, oh yeah, that's an A for me. But the rest of it was cool. And I feel like we kind of like fizzled out in the middle rounds, if you want to say, like from Glaze on to, you know what I mean, on to really Laube or Eichenberg. That's where I was like, you know what I mean? DeCamerion Richardson was okay to me. It's an okay pick, but I like Laube. I like Eichenberg. You know what I mean? I actually like the 7th round corner more than the 4th round, to be honest. But
same here,
you know,
bro.
that's where I'm at right there. But I feel like it's a B overall as far as the draft.
Nah, I hear you too, because I agree with you with Bowers. And I said this to Severe a couple of times. I've said this like as much as I can. If Bowers is not a game changer, an elite player, it's going to be tough to really make sense of drafting a good player, if that makes sense, at a position where it's a luxury. Now, if he's a game changer, elite player, then you're like, oh my God, like, of course we draft this guy. Because what, Devontae, how many years does he have left? Is he going to just, by mid-season next season?
With my people a lot on TRS. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
go ahead.
I had that debate with Devontae a lot. Like, how long does he have left? I think it depends on like quarterback play for real. If it's good quarterback play, I think he got like 4, damn near 4 to 5 for real. But if it's, I don't know. I just think the way he plays, he has like 4 to 5.
Okay, that's fair. But like you gotta right now. I think he's happy with the Raiders right now. But what's to say mid-season next season? The offense ain't working. Quarterback's constantly missing them, wide open. You know what I mean? He's getting older, so he's not gonna get as much. He's not gonna get as open as much as he used to. So that means less opportunities. And a quarterback like maybe an Aaron Rodgers would fight him easy, but a guy like AOC he'll get sacked easily. He's not gonna be running away from nobody. Minshew, you can question his arm a little bit. You know what I mean? Is he gonna get the ball in the right spots? And I'm just throwing this out there because this is realistic. Let's be real. Like, and I'm trying to make sense of the Bowers pick. That's what I'm trying to say. The Bowers pick, if it works out, then you got a nice little replacement if he is that guy, if he's that number one option. And I'm with you with there. Like it's a luxury pick, but from what you've seen, the type of player he is, like he's a better player than Mayer, right?
Oh, there's no denying it. See, this is the thing, right? And everybody was tripping because I was live, when we was picking. I know y'all was doing y'all thing as well. When they picked, I saw y'all reactions too. Hey, fire on that. But when they picked him, everybody was like, "Oh, this is." I'm like, bro, this ain't like Leatherwood or like some of these other Cleveland Farrell. It's not one of them. You know what I mean? Like instantly when you turn on the tape, you like, okay, you know what I mean? Like I understand. You feel what I'm saying? It's not like I turn on the tape and I'm still wondering why did we pick this dude where we picked him? You know what I mean? Like I'm not wondering that. So, I mean, when I look, for sure he's a better player than Mayer, but I also say he's a different player than Mayer because he's not no traditional wide tight end. You know what I mean? Mayer is more traditional wide tight end. This dude, you're going to see him play halfback. You're going to see him play slot. You're going to see him play off tight end. You're going to see him play everything. Like he's going to literally do everything, be a fullback sometimes. Like he's that type of dude where you can line him up and be that Swiss Army knife for real. And now instead of third and Renfro, we're going to be going to this motherfucker. Like that's how it's going to be. You know what I mean? That's literally how it's going. So, I mean, you just got a bigger body now that they can do more. And he's more of a matchup nightmare. So I think he's going to bode well for how we want to attack defenses, though, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point too, because they do complement each other. They do have like they both play the same position, but they play off each other. I think a lot of Mayer's game, he kind of complements the weaknesses in Bowers' game because you feel like Bowers kind of plays like he plays a deeper part of the field.
He's a big slot basically. He's a huge
slot. That's a fact. And To add on to that point, right? Like he even played with Darnell Washington in Georgia, like, and he's with the Steelers. Like we know how big Darnell Washington is. What he kind of did for Georgia, he was still on the field 90% of the time with Darnell. So that shows he can play not have to be just strictly a tight end. You know what I mean? He can do everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that's the first round. So let's move along because I don't know. I already know. Like we've been talking about the draft. I know you've been talking about the draft on your channel. We've been talking about the draft like almost every week. But we know how big the draft impacts the team and the success of the team. You know what I mean? That's how you get better as a team. But let's just go to your favorite pick in the draft. What's your favorite pick in the draft?
So I mean, like. Yeah, I can't never get tired about talking about this draft content because I'm not sitting here screaming and pulling my hair out or whatever because we didn't pick somebody we shouldn't have picked. But at the end of the day, a lot of people say Jackson Powers, and I want to go with the traditional. So I honestly say Tommy Eichenberg was one of my favorite. That was a dude I kind of looked at. Like, honestly, I looked at early and was like, this is a dude we can honestly get late. And it's like, a lot of people ain't going to be super excited. You look at the measurables, it's like, there's nothing to really be excited about, but you watch the tape, like, the dude like just a football player, bro. Like, you can tell he has great instincts. You know what I mean? I feel like if he can pick up on the scheme and pick up on some things, bro, I mean, I feel like he might see some tick. I mean, he has the chance. I mean, you look at our linebacker room, other than Spillane, right, everybody else, like, up in the air to me. And nobody else really got no solid position. And other than that, like, everybody else be injury prone. Diablo, we know to miss some games. You feel what I'm saying? Like Masterson as well. So at some point, he gonna find his way on the field. And we gonna see.
Yeah. The only thing I think, just to give you pushback, and I know Severe's brought this up a lot, is coverage.
Oh yeah,
that was probably that's probably one of my least favorite picks. To be honest with you,
I like Eichenberg, bro.
I like Eichenberg as like a college player. Like Eichenberg, you on my college team? Oh, bro, I want Tommy Eichenberg, but in the NFL, bro, I mean, like I said, he's a guy that, like, if this was 1999, bro, he one of the best linebackers in the league. But this ain't 1999. It was 2024. So in the game where it's predicated on mostly passing, and I think he's a guy that only really fits at Mike. I think Spillane already occupies that space. So, you know, we kind of need either a Will, you know, which we or Sam, you know, we just hope Diablo will be that guy, a Will linebacker as well. Most of the time we're going to be a nickel anyway. And, you know, Eichenberg is a guy that you really can't put on the field. You know, he's a 2-down linebacker that plays the position that our best linebacker already plays. So in my opinion, that was kind of a, you know, he's a guy that's going to be depth, you know, probably play on teams for sure. He's going to be a guy that's going to be, you know, I think on teams, he's going to be great. Like, if that's what you're drafting him for, a special team player, but I'm not drafting a guy in the 5th round to be basically a backup middle linebacker and a special teams player. I want a guy that's going to ideally make an impact. So, I mean, that's why I wasn't really feeling that pick. I mean, most of the middle round picks, I wasn't feeling. Lobby's my favorite pick.
No, I like Eichenberg for the simple fact of I think he's going to immediately help us in the run game, though, because I think honestly we a little light when it comes to other than Spillane. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, like, I don't really like our linebacker room. I'm gonna be like 100%. I don't like none of our linebackers other than Spillane. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say it's pretty much up in the air, and I pretty much feel like other than Spillane, we didn't play with a lot of physicality at that position either. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there were some times during the season last year where it's like we could have played a little more physical at that position against the run. You know, especially later in the year where teams was running track meets on us later in the year, sort of, kind of. So it's like, you know, I just feel like he'll find a way on the field to help immediately in the run game. But I feel you on the coverage thing. But I felt the same way about Spillane before he came here, and all of a sudden I don't really feel that way. So I don't know what they did when he got in there. I don't know what AP did to Spillane, but hopefully it can rub off. That's all I'm hoping.
But see, that's what I was telling people last year. But when we picked up Spillane, I was probably one of the few people on YouTube saying, "Yo, bro, this is a hell of a pickup." I was like a guy. Spillane never left the field. He was a 3-down linebacker for a team. And his linebacker coach at that time was Brian Flores, and his head coach was Mike Tomlin. I'm like, you telling me we get a guy that basically puts Miles Jack and Devin Bush off the field for Brian Flores and for Mike Tomlin, he playing over both of these dudes. I'm like, bro, if he's doing that over there, he's a dog. And then I watched him play. I'm like, oh, bro, this dude is a dog. He gonna be a dog for us. And I was saying that last year, and people was like, "Oh, Spillane, you was Robert," you know. I was like, "Bro, watch, this dude gonna be a dog for us." And then that's what he ended up doing. I don't feel the same way about Eichenberg. You know, I saw him play at Ohio State. Coming forward, he's a heck of a player. But you put that boy in space, he's and we got some tight ends in our division. We got Travis Kelce, we got that boy in Denver from UCLA. I forget my guy's name, but watch, that dude's gonna be a dog too. So he's gonna like they're gonna put that boy in the blender, man. So like I said, he's a 2-down linebacker at best right now, and he's gonna probably make an impact on teams.
So,
but that being said, though,
Pharaoh, go ahead, because I'm about to.
No, I was just gonna say though, like the type of defense that the Raiders run. Do you think that's gonna be a huge position for the players that we have?
What I was gonna say. That's it, and you took the words right out of my mouth, because I'm like, really, I think they're gonna use safeties for more of like what my man Severe was talking about as far as the tight ends. It's gonna be the safeties. That's why they got so many damn safeties. Really, like if you look at the safety room, it's kind of crowded. And I already done said, like, one of them dudes, either Merrick, Epps, they not coming back. And salute my guy Chris, always in the building, man.
Good, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Yeah. Epps or Merrick not coming back, but somebody, like, I feel like they're going to use safeties a lot, too, to come into the box, especially the type of safeties they have. They have dudes that's going to come into the box. So I think maybe they'll kind of limit his role if he comes in and says, all right, bro, you playing in this space. You know what I mean? You in this box here, you in this bubble, bro, like, let's operate. And that's really where he operates well. And I feel like he can play zone within that space and structure. You know what I mean? I feel like he can do that. So, I mean, we'll see.
Nah, I mean, I completely agree. My point, but that's even more of my point. Like, if we not going to use him, he can't cover. He's a 2-down linebacker. We got, Isaiah Palomar to kind of play it's gonna play big nickel. We got Trey Taylor, who is a guy that can play big nickel. We seen it's not Mike Epps. We seen Epps, Marcus Epps, come down in the box. We seen Merrick, he can come down in the box on occasions. We still haven't seen what Chris Smith can do. Like, we got all these guys that can play that, in these 3 safety lineups, and we don't really need another linebacker. Then why waste a 5th round pick on a linebacker? Like, you feel what I'm saying? I'm like, my opinion is like, you have a finite amount of resources to improve your team. Why go after a guy that you're not really going to be using? Those resources could be spent elsewhere. We still got, Masterson, who I think can fill a backup linebacker role. We still haven't seen what Amari Burney can do. We got Darian Butler out of ASU. We still haven't seen really what he can do. So I think we got other younger guys, and I think Isaiah Palomar is a guy we brought back to play the very role that we kind of need to play as that kind of coverage, linebacker safety hybrid role. So, like I said, I think it was kind of a wasted pick, but
right.
Now I don't want to spend all this time on Tommy Eichenberg, man.
No, it's all good, and I'll just leave it at this, man. You know what? We have a former linebacker head coach, and I think he did a pretty solid job at coaching that position, especially given the fact that you've seen Robert Spillane have a career year with the Raiders. And I know, Severe, you said numerous times that you were high on him. You called him out. That was one of the Raiders' best pickup before he even stepped foot on the football field, but he still had his best year with the Raiders, and he did it under Coach AP. And now, moving forward, AP is able to get a linebacker that he could possibly figure out, especially Patrick Graham. And then we talked about the defense and obviously, using different players to maybe fill roles. But that being said, that's the draft. We can talk about that all day, every day. Let's move along. Rookie minicamp was a couple days ago. What were your thoughts on what was coming out of rookie minicamp? AP was finally able to talk to the media, to the world. What did you guys think about what it was said and your thoughts on what happened at rookie minicamp?
First and foremost, talk about the information. We say Powers going to the left. That was news. Definitely now. I think, to me, seemingly says that Parham is going to go to right guard, where he should have been anyway. I don't even know why. I believe that I believe when we got him, everybody thought he was going to go to right guard. If I'm not mistaken, when he first got drafted,
not to cut you off, but he was at right guard and he was playing well.
That's what I'm saying.
Well. He was one of the best players at that position, if not one of the best rookies at that position at right guard. He was playing lights out, and then I don't know, the McDaniels regime, Carmen Bricillo wanted to change things up, and he was trying different lineups. If you guys remember, they were rotating right tackle like almost every week. They were rotating that offensive line, and they moved him to left guard.
Sometimes drives.
Exactly. And they moved him to left guard, and he struggled. He struggled for a little bit. I mean, do you think it's a good idea to move him again? I mean, I know that he was playing well, but like
he's more natural at that right. I think he's more natural at the right guard position. He looked like that when he was playing that before they moved him. I think ever since he's moved to the left, there are certain problems he has. You know what I mean? Like there's certain problems he has on the left that I think might be able to get rectified on that right side at the end of the day. But yeah, I think it's a better option. I think it's a better option. Either that or they're saying that he's on notice. It's one of the two, because there's no reason. I thought the whole time they was gonna slop Powers to the right. You know what I mean? But now you got white hair. Now I mean, now you got competition at the guard spot. So either he's on notice or he's going to the right side. That's what it says to me.
Space Beast, appreciate the super chat. He says, we seen Amari Burney on Bowers highlight reel.
Facts.
Yeah, but
Facts. Yeah, he's on there a lot. Quite a ton, actually.
Yeah, man. But hopefully he's doing that on a lot of safeties this year, man. We'll see, man. Look, the season hasn't started yet, but right now this is the perfect time to project. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, go on, man. So you were talking about the offensive line, left guard. That's actually a good point, because we all kind of thought that like Jackson Power Johnson was going to go to that right side, because everybody was just focused on the right side, even right tackle. You know what I mean? Like we heard some things about that right tackle position. We thought that Andres Pete was going to be a guy that might have competed with Thayer Mumford, and Antonio Pierce shut that down. He was like, no. He's coming here to compete at guard and possible backup left tackle.
Yep.
And yeah.
Hey, shout out to everybody that's here that be watching the show. You know what I mean? They know I'm a Thayer Mumford guy. So I've been said I like Thayer Mumford. I thought he was gonna be the dude to be on the right anyway. I know some of y'all may not like that, but at the end of the day, I think I saw certain things last year where I was like, okay, this dude I think deserves a shot, actually. You know what I mean? To just compete. So him being on the right don't really surprise me, but Pete, I thought at least was going to compete for the right, you know what I mean? But just to flat out him say left. Like, that's it. Flat out left. That was very surprising. So it looks like it's just down to, Glaze and Thayer on that right side over there.
Yes, sir. And now, okay, so we got that offensive line kind of figured out. I think AP was doing his best to hype up Thayer Mumford. He's putting in a lot of work. He's been hearing all the talk about him. Is he a right tackle? I don't know. We should replace him. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm still kind of we're bringing in an offensive line coach that runs a zone blocking system, and you got a Thayer Mumford who probably better fits a power blocking scheme. Does that necessarily mean that they're gonna run zone blocking exclusively? Maybe. Are they gonna possibly look at the offensive line they have and try to mix it up a little bit? Because we don't have that guy on the roster just yet. We don't know. But yeah, what else did you get out of the mini camp? I know offensive line. We found out Thayer Mumford is going to be that guy it's basically his job to lose. You mentioned left guard, Jackson Power Johnson is going to be there, and Dylan Parham might go to that right side. But what else did you get out of the rookie mini camp? I know it's just a mini camp, but sometimes you can read a little bit of tea leaves.
First time we hearing the installments, you know what I mean? So it's like the first time we really hearing I guess the thoughts on what he really want. So at the end of the day, like that intrigued me. The fact that now, I mean, he was talking about Aiden and Gardner, of course. Really, that's what everybody want to talk about. Saying that it's Aiden snaps first and it's Aiden snaps to lose, but he said that throughout the whole offseason. So he's been the same on that. He ain't really changed on that aspect, but doubling down, of course, doubling down on that. And at the same time, I think it's important to look at the fact that I think he's real high on this defense, but at the same time, there are certain guys I think that are on notice. Like I think Ja'Cory Bennett's on notice just by the amount of corners you draft. Like you drafted 2 corners, it's like all right. I like, and he talked about Cameron Richardson a lot, so I think like that's a dude he likes. That's a dude that I think they could look at him and be like, he might be able to do something this year. You know what I mean? Just by the way they talked about him, by where they drafted him. You know what I mean? Especially for who else was on the board. I was like, okay, you gonna go with him? They must really like him. So you know what I mean?
He
like,
better perform.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, and Telesco has that kind of history of going through after some DBs later in the draft. You know what I mean? He goes after some guys. I mean, usually he has a good track record, but we'll see. You know what I mean? Off of that. But I think some dudes are on notice on that defense. And I think he done put a lot of people on notice just by the way, he's drafted and by the way he's talking too.
You think one of those guys is Ja'Cory Bennett?
Hell yeah. Don't give me shout out to my dude Chris, but I talk about it all the time, bro. Like, first of all, number one, the last coaching staff messed him up. Why he wasn't playing in preseason, I don't know. All right, even Michael Mayer played in preseason. So number one, him not playing. All right, we started expecting things, right, and then it did not go the way we expected it to go. All right, we saw some clips against Brandon Ayuk, and everybody got excited. Right. Yeah. And now all of a sudden we see him against Stephon Diggs and he's 10 yards behind. You feel what I'm saying? Getting burnt on go routes. It's like, all right, bro. Never really got his foot. So it's like, to me, it's like I don't understand how he could be a leg up over the competition because one, you never really regained your spot back after you lost it. And two, the other dude got better or just as good measurables as you. Like there's nothing you can really say or I outweigh or outdo on him. You can't bank on Ja'Cory and speed because your boy Cameron Richardson run a 4.3. So you can't. You feel what I'm saying? You can't bank on that. You can't say experience, but at the end of the day, it's like talk about it all the time. We done been around ball a lot, bro. You're a corner, bro. Like, be real. Well, like, what really do you have to do? If you're playing man, you're playing man. You got to know your zones, where you're dropping. At the end of the day, there's only so many zones you can drop in. You feel what I'm saying? So, well, from there, you can get you a sign. And the D-line we're going to have next. So, even there, you even going to even have a better chance of making some plays. But then his size, bro. He's Richardson 6'2". Your boy, Ja'Cory is 5-something. So
5'10", I think. 5'10".
So it's like
5'10", 5'11",
bro. Like, you know what I mean? Especially if they bring a veteran in here like Xavier Howard or Steven Nelson or something, like then it's really a wrap.
Yeah,
yes, sir. And then, hey,
man, I think they're banking on Brandon Faison being the veteran guy. I think he's similar. He's similar size to the Cameron
played last year too.
Yeah, bro.
He was hurt all year. That's why I was hoping Ja'Cory Bennett will be able to step up. And then, Ja'Cory Bennett.
Y'all, if that's their plan, how do y'all feel about that? I don't feel good about that, but
I think they're probably waiting until that market drops down a little bit for the these veteran corners because there's still some available. I mean, whether you like it or not, you know what I mean. You got the Howards from Miami. You got the Gilmores. I know Severe not a big Gilmore guy, but he's
hey. Last I saw Gilmore wasn't good. That's why. Yeah, I didn't have a good image the last time I saw him.
I don't like Stephon Gilmore. I don't like the Gilmore girls. I don't like nothing Gilmore right now, bro.
hey, but you know what? It depends on what type of what's his role on a team because he does have that experience. He's played that position at high level. You got young corners on the team. I think it could be a positive if he has the right role. If it's a role where he's playing 90% of the starting outside corner spot, maybe at this point in his career he might be the guy. Maybe it's Steven Nelson. You know what I mean? A guy that's
I think it might be Steven Nelson. I like
he's solid, not spectacular, but gets the job done.
Yeah, bro. That's a good one. That's a good one. I think he checks all boxes where he's just solid. Somebody you don't have to sign long term either. You know what I mean? You can get him for a nice little maybe year, 2 years, maybe. You know what I mean? And then you got young dudes behind him that can grow. And then after those 2 years maybe is up, you go ahead and see if the young dudes is ready to rock.
Steven Nelson is 135 years old. Steven, I mean,
you like 28. I think like 29, 28.
I think.
Hold on. Let me.
Maybe
he's that old, bro. That old. I know Stephon Gilmore's that old.
I think Steven Nelson like 30, 31, bro.
He's a 31? Is he 31? Yeah, you're right. He's 31. He's 31.
He's 30, 31, bro. So at this point, bro, I would rather, if that's the case, I would rather roll with Faison and these young guys than try to, unless we can get one of these other players off somebody's off like a cut, like he a casualty type cut, because this is the same thing we did last year with Marcus Peters. And I was telling everybody, like, bro, Marcus Peters is washed. And then I even predicted, I was wrong, but I predicted that Marcus Peters wasn't going to make the 53. And he ended up making the 53, but he was buns pretty much the entire time he was here.
Oh, for sure.
He had his one moment in Detroit where he had the pick 6. But pretty much the entire year, he's either getting cooked or he was dropping picks. And then we finally had enough of it when we got rid of it. So these dudes are free agents for a reason. And I don't think it's necessarily the dollar figures. I just think that, like some of these dudes are just washed. And so like I'm saying, like, I'd rather, hey, we should have drafted a corner higher, in my opinion. I've made that clear. But if not, hey, just roll with who we have on the roster. If it's going to be Jacorian in year 2, roll with Jacorian. If it's going to be Brandon Faison, if DeCamerion Richardson, Lord help me, if he's the guy, roll with DeCamerion Richardson. But let's just keep this thing in house.
So are you mad that the coin didn't flip a certain way?
I mean that was my CB3/4. So I mean my CB1 is Quinyon Mitchell. My CB2 was Wiggins. That was my two guys. So I'd rather, like, I've been highly critical of the Brockbowers pick, but I would rather have Brockbowers at 13 than Terrion Arnold.
I agree with that 100%. But I wasn't even really a corner dude at 13 regardless. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really want a corner at 13 regardless. I mean, and then Quinyon didn't even get picked till 22 or something like that. So then it was like, yeah. Regardless, we could have waited. We could have even traded back and got that. Like a lot of us said to do. So at the end of the day, it's like
that would have been a dream. I'd have given this guy for A+. If we did that.
Though, it's not bad, bro. Not bad. Not a bad compensation prize though.
Yeah, Severe. He not gonna let it go until he sees it on the field, man. He not gonna let it go.
He got to do something. I understand.
He not gonna let it go. But hey, salute to my guy, Raiders Smoke. He says, "Hey, what's up to the guys? Salute to y'all, man. Appreciate you coming through. Always showing love." Raider Smoke 89, my guy. But yeah, the chat is going crazy, man. But yeah, man, like, we don't want to keep you too long, man. Raider Rundown,
hey, man. What, feeling, bro? Can't ever keep you too long with the Raiders talk.
Oh, hey, man, appreciate it. All right, so we got the rookie mini camp out the way. Obviously, there's some things you could read into it because there's a lot of there's a lot of generic things that can come out of there. This guy looks amazing. We're looking forward to him putting on the helmet. All the generic type of stuff. Mm-hmm. But is there anything else that you could say that we can read into other than offensive line and obviously that corner position? Or is there anything else, or is there something that you're kind of like focused on right now?
So really, I like the rookies. Yeah, I'm focused on the rookies, but like I feel like what we already need for at least like the core, it's already like in house. You know what I mean? Like I feel like these guys that we just brought in are going to add to it, but I feel like I'm more focused on what's in house right now, because really what's in house is what's really going to determine if this is going to be a good football team or not. You know what I mean? Like the rookies we've brought in, that now we would have drafted like a dude like Penix or all that other stuff. Well, now we on a different type of timing, but it seems like now they trust more of who they have in certain positions. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm ready to see them take the field, and you know what I mean. Even by the way that AP's talking, because you just said it right now. Oh, everybody looks good in shorts and shirts. We just waiting on pads. By the way, AP talking, he's taking it real slow. You know what I mean? He was giving that player speak at the podium. You know what I mean? We had day one learning. So it's like, it is what it is, bro.
Yeah,
so
but we've always heard in the past. There's always that one guy that like kills it. I'm talking about like And sometimes it holds true. From preseason to the regular season, it holds true. One guy that was an example, if you guys remember this guy, Denarius Moore. Dude was making amazing catches in mini camp. He was killing in training camp. And then he actually, it's translated to the football field. Did he have a long career? Man. You know, that's something to argue. But it translated. But then
there was this other guy. There's this other guy who was killing in training camp. Like, he was a talk of all training camp. Killing, right? Man, he was killing. What was that? Oh, Jacorian Bennett. And what did he do during the season? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. So I don't care what you're doing in training camp, bro. You
can't buy into the talk, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. You see clips, then they post clips of somebody covering Brandon Ayuk, and now we oh my God, and now you get to the first game, bro, and it's not like that.
Yeah. But when do you really start believing the hype though? When do you start believing the hype? Is it training camp? You start believing the hype?
You gotta be
is it first game of the season? Is it second game, third? Like, when do you start believing?
No, you gotta, because the name, for me personally, like, it's consistency. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be consistent. That's the only way that we know that you will be a good player. Even with Max, you feel what I'm saying? Like, consistency. You know what I mean? Even that second year, because the second year for Max was rough, but he was still kind of consistent in certain areas. The effort was always consistent. So it's like, I know, like, I'm not really gonna worry about that. It's gonna happen when it happens. So, like, for me, it's like, I need to see at least until like game 4. Game 4, where I'm like, all right, bro, you didn't put solid work. I done seen whatever in training camp. Game 1 might be rough. Game 1 might be good. Okay, let's go off of what happens after that. All right, cool. Let's see what happens after that. Like, I want to see you stack it. So I think game 4 for me.
Hey, real quick, Elizabeth McMullen has a question for y'all. What is your guys' favorite NFL team, man? Hey, I think
it's the LA Avengers. My guy.
Appreciate it though.
She really wants to know though. She wants to know, what's your guys' favorite NFL. I don't think, you know what I mean. She wants to know what the favorite team.
Everybody in the chat, man, y'all know what time it is, man. You know we got to give her one of the Raiders, man. Yeah, we got to give her.
You know, hey, look, we'll just give her a clue. We'll just give her. Hey, there you go, Elizabeth. If you don't know from there, then you just it's going. Hey, man, well, that's all we can do right now.
Look, Rundown might be too young to remember this dude, man. But there's a dude we drafted out of Georgia in the 3rd round. His name was Quentin Moses. Yeah, you probably don't remember it. Quentin Moses. Was a guy.
We cut him after 1 year.
What happened?
Didn't we cut him like after 1 year or something like that? Or
he didn't make it past the first roster cut, bro. We drafted him in the 3rd round. First off, like the year prior, he was projected like top 10 pick, and he went back to school. Then we drafted him in the 3rd round, almost like an Arden Key type situation. We drafted him in the 3rd round, and then like through rookie minicamp, through OTAs, like he was killing everybody. Like they was like, bro, we cannot block this dude. Like people were saying, like he's unblockable. We can't stop him no matter what we do. And then went to training camp, put them pads on, and they locked that boy up. And he didn't make it past roster cuts after that. So,
but Rundown is old enough to remember the receiver that we tried to turn into a running back. Remember John Gruden drafted him and Mayak, or was it Mayak or McKenzie? Yeah. I don't know, but we'll just say John Gruden.
It was Mayak. It was Mayak. Yeah, Lynn Bowden Jr.
Lynn Bowden. Yeah. Lynn Bowden. Yeah, that was terrible. I see, and this is the next thing, right? This is why I know we're finally drafting better, and I don't know where you guys are at in this stance, but I've said this, and it can be controversial if you want it to be, but we kind of got to thank McDaniels and Ziegler on the devil's advocate front, because for as terrible as McDaniels was at coaching, he at least got us out of the hole that we were in, money and depth-wise, right? Like money and depth-wise, it was garbage. They at least gave it some standing ground. Like, so now it's like we're drafting players where I'm like, we're not trying to change their positions no more. You feel what I'm saying? They actually can play multiple positions. We're not sitting here wishing and praying that they can and transform into something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And salute to my guy MHP 1999. He says Bay Area Raider here, man. Hey, look, man. I got to shout him out because, man, it's tough out here in the Bay, man, seeing all this Niner stuff all around the Niners, man. I was hoping the Raiders can come back this year to Napa at least, but I guess they had some other plans. They're going to Costa Mesa. How you feel about that too? Are you going to be up there? You on the other side of the country, by the way. I forgot.
But the fam is back in Cali. You know what I mean? We got Southern Cali roots. Pops was going to the LA Raider games when Bo Jackson and all them was there.
Oh, okay.
Going with mom. So we rooted in they going back to the roots. That's how I'm looking at it. You feel what I'm saying? We going back. Yeah. And that's AP roots at the end of the day. SoCal. You feel what I'm saying? So we got to go there. I feel like they'll touch down in Napa in the future, but I feel like the Bay kind of rough right now. That's what all my Bay people is telling me. It's rough.
That's a whole different conversation for another day. But yeah, man, you ain't lying about that. But SoCal Sal says to the panel, he says, would you trade for? I guess he's talking about Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints, cornerback, and what would it take? It's a question for the panel. I'm gonna shoot it to you. Rundown.
I would, and I think what it would take, though, I'm not trying to give up honestly, second. I wouldn't want to give up no first. I'd probably give up a second. Oh, I'd probably give up a second or a third.
Even with the injuries?
Maybe a third. I give up a third.
Okay.
Yeah,
man. I give up a third. I wouldn't go second. Yeah, I give up a third. That's a little. A second's a little high, so probably nothing above no third, and then try to get him like that.
Okay. Especially with the Raiders' third round picks the last couple of years, they okay with taking risks.
We got Glaze with the third round. You feel what I'm saying? So if we would have traded that for Marshawn Lattimore, I would have been straight with that. I'm not gonna lie.
And who did we get the year before? We got Byron Young and Trey Tucker.
Yeah. I'm cool with Trey though. I'm straight with Trey.
Okay.
I like Trey Tucker, bro. I like Trey Tucker.
Yeah, man. We didn't get into this conversation.
I know, look, Severe don't like it, but I like it, bro.
Just to be on topic though, Severe, man, what would it take for you? What would it take to get Lattimore? What would you throw in a trade?
What would I throw in a trade?
Because he's a good corner. When healthy, when he's on the field, he's a good corner.
And that
what's the name of that third quarterback that nobody knows the name of? Maybe him.
You talking about Anthony Brown?
Yeah, Anthony Brown. I trade Anthony Brown and Sincere McCormick for Marshawn. All
right, so
maybe
so
a fifth, bro. The fifth, I'll trade a fifth. That's the highest I'm trading for him because he's expensive and he's injury prone, and so I'm trading the fifth for him. Max.
And hold on, you know what? Since we're talking about it, let's see how old is Lattimore. Let's see how old Marshawn Lattimore is.
Marshawn Lattimore been in the league for a minute. It seemed like.
Yeah, no,
that's over a third. So
he's 27. He's 27.
He's only 27. Oh, he's not as old as I thought.
Okay, he gonna want more than that.
Okay, I thought he's been in the league. Been in the league for a minute. I feel like he's been in the league forever.
Maybe a fourth. Meet in the middle. I said a third. He said a fifth. They probably want a fourth.
I think what hurts him is the injuries. That's the reason why that's why they have him on the trade block because they're paying him, but he hasn't been healthy. So I'm thinking like they're trying to. Because the Saints always in camp.
Because I heard this as well. What about Greg Newsome from the Browns?
If they picked up his 5th year option, so I don't know. Would you think that they picked it up? So they might be interested in keeping him, but that just might be, I don't know.
To try to work something out long term, maybe you pick it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, I think the big thing with Newsome was, I think that his tackling was an issue. But he's played well with the Browns. I mean, his coverage was never a question, but it was just people question his physicality and his tackling ability. Is he an AP guy? Because what we've noticed with the Raiders since AP's been the head coach is that he wants his guy. Like a Raider. Like when it comes to whether it's a player, it's a coach, whoever it is, it has to be a guy that fits in within that locker room, that culture. So is Newsome like? You gotta take that in consideration when you start talking about some of these players. Like
I think he's a little more fiery than Lattimore, at least though. I'll give it like that. A little more fiery than Lattimore.
Okay. All right, man.
Lattimore be asking about
SoCal.
the squad with Mike Evans, though. Him and Mike Evans almost got to a few squabbles.
That is true. Yeah, I like
Mike
that
Evans
too.
almost got to a few squabbles.
But goddamn, we already got Jack Jones. Like, damn, like that's why I say we need a veteran, bro. Like, we already got some hotheads in the room, man. We already got all that. We're gonna be getting in some real squabbles during the season. I ain't gonna lie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, Raider Rundown, man, we appreciate you coming through, man. Hey, look, man, this is like I said, before we started the show, man, we gotta do this again. Sure. Just let us know. But before you go, man, let Raider Nation know what they can look forward to as far as this off season, as far as, you know, what can they look forward to, man? Like let them know, and also where they can find you as well too.
Right. Oh, for sure. So definitely you can look forward to this week. We're gonna be doing a scheduled release live party right on Wednesday. Me and the rest of the TRS brothers, man. So shout out my guy Turf, shout out Leo, shout out my guy Protect the Shield, Chris, man. We're gonna be doing a live party for the scheduled release. Seeing when we're gonna be, you know, going to some games, what games we going to. First and foremost, hey, you gonna catch Rundown at that New Orleans game. I'm letting y'all know that off rip. So if anybody want to see me at that New Orleans game, I'm there, bro.
Hey, man. I might have to meet you out there.
You already know what's gonna be going down at that game. But at the end of the day, right, we're gonna be there.
That's the Derek Carr game too. That's the Derek Carr game too. And you know what's gonna be funny? You know what's gonna be funny too? Is that you know when you go to road games, you don't know what to expect from the opposing fans and the environment or whatever. But I've heard good things with New Orleans. But I'll say this: the Saints fans don't really like Carr like that.
Yeah, bro.
So if it's Raider fans, if it's Raider fans and Saints fans, and Carr start messing up, Max Crosby smack him in the face, whatever, he sacks him, and Carr curls up like in a ball, and the rest is history. I think it's going to be like a united front when it comes to crowd. Like they're going to be all over Carr as far as like yelling all types of crazy stuff. Man, it's going to be crazy.
I can't contain it. I feel happiness just thinking about that moment. Like I can't even contain my laughter, bro. Like that would be perfect. But your boy gonna be there, man. So definitely catch me there, man. For sure, it's gonna be a fun time. But during this off season, going into the season, bro, gonna be crazy content I'm putting out, man. Gonna have some more guests, man. Gonna have some more interviews. Trying to give y'all as many exclusives as I can, man. Just working as hard as I can, man. Definitely continue to check out these dudes right here, man. Always support dudes, real dudes getting their money. And, always talking that real talk, man. So even though opinions may not always be agreed upon, at the end of the day, man, we can always agree that we trying to do the best thing and always have the best opinions for the team. So that's all we can agree on, man, for sure.
No, facts, 100%. And before we let you go, Raider Smoke 89, appreciate the super chat. We're gonna answer this question a little bit later, but Raider Smoke says, who do you guys predict is the QB under center when the season starts? Raider Rundown, let them know.
It's gonna be Aiden. I'm already gonna go ahead.
Okay.
And I think it's gonna be Aiden. And I know I'm gonna be watching the rest of the show, see what y'all saying. But I'm gonna stamp it on y'all show right here on this date that I think it's gonna be Aiden, and we gonna rock through.
Okay, man. Hey, like he said, man, y'all can find them Raider Rundown all over social media. On IG, I believe is Raider Rundown 2. And then on YouTube, specifically YouTube, that's where you can find them, man. Hey, make sure to head over his channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, all that good stuff. Raider Nation, if you are a Raider fan, and obviously you on YouTube, man, hey, just hit that subscribe button, man. Just hit that like button. It don't hurt, man. The guy knows his stuff. He does a good show on his channel, and we're gonna be collabing in the future as well. And make sure to check out his live show this week, the schedule release, which is gonna be happening on Wednesday. So we'll be tuning in. We'll be because I know we know who they're gonna be playing. We just don't know when, when those games are actually gonna be happening.
And that matters. That really matters because you got to see how strong the schedule is at certain points. You feel what I'm saying? That'll determine how you feel like they're gonna do.
Right. Yeah, no doubt, man. Hey, man, appreciate you coming through, man.
Much love, brothers, man. Much love, family. Y'all keep your
big dog, man. For sure, man. We gotta link up soon.
Oh, for sure.
All right, Rundown, man. That's the Raider Rundown. My guy coming through, showing love, man. I appreciate my guy. Man, it was a great guest, man. You know what I mean? Hey, look, we like to have good guests on the show, man. He knows his stuff. Definitely has a strong opinion, so make sure to check him out on the Raider Rundown on YouTube and all over social media. But the 50-50 show must continue, and we got to get into some topics here before we get up out of here, man. We got to talk to the nation. I know the chat is going crazy, and we're going to get into the chat a little bit, but I think, Severe, you wanted to let the people know about a certain signing that actually happened today. And we talked about this behind the scenes. I don't think we ever talked about it, in front of, I don't think we talked about it like on the show or anything like that. But we talked about like the quarterback position. And my guy, Raider Smoke 89, was talking about who should be the starting quarterback by week 1. But today there was a huge extension given out by the Detroit Lions to Jared Goff.
Yes.
And let the people know what the impact of that move could be.
So, if you guys don't know already, the Detroit Lions, they signed Jared Goff to a 4-year extension. So that means he's locked up for the foreseeable future. They're stamping him. That is their franchise quarterback. Now, last year they drafted a guy in the 3rd round, quarterback out of Tennessee. The guy that was the starter there before Joe Milton, guy by the name of Hendon Hooker. And what makes this interesting is that Hendon Hooker, he was a guy I want to say he was kind of an insurance policy, but also Hendon Hooker is a guy that was an older quarterback, right? Hendon Hooker is already 26 years old. He's about 5 months older than Aiden O'Connell.
Wait. Hold on. Repeat that. Hold up. The Detroit Lions, you gotta let the people know this because they not paying attention here. The Detroit Lions just gave a huge 4-year, over $200+ million contract to Jared Goff. That's a huge investment. And they have a backup QB who coming into the NFL was how old? 25, 24?
He's 25. He's 26 now.
He's 26 years old.
26 years old now.
He's not getting any younger. And this could be possible trade bait.
Possibly.
Coming out that draft, a lot of draft people had him as one of their top 4, 5, 6 QBs in the draft. But one of the biggest for some people, but the big thing was he was coming into the NFL hurt. Like literally, he was hurt. Like he missed the entire year last year recovering from, I think was it an ACL injury or ACL injury. So if that's the case, and now he's 100% healthy, he's 26 years old, and you just gave a contract to Jared Goff.
Yes.
This could be possible trade bait.
Yes. And for all those people that love the guy out of Florida State, whose name I can't think of right now, very similar situation, right? He's a guy that he's a little bit older, except Hendon Hooker. He's like he has a much better build for the position. But though he was a guy that was probably on track to possibly win a Heisman or be, in contention for a Heisman Trophy. And then, he got his season ended early due to injury. Coming out of Tennessee, a little bit of a gimmicky offense, but he was putting up some crazy numbers, insane numbers at that school, stomping on people. And I think that if the Raiders wanted to go out there and make a trade for a guy, maybe not necessarily developmental guy, but a guy that they can add into their competition right now, a guy that can right now, talent for talent, he will be the most talented quarterback on our roster. Now, would he necessarily be able to beat out Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew? That remains to be seen. But I think that you add him into that competition, that's an infusion of talent, and that just raises the level of competition. And then hey, whoever comes out of this competition as the starter is going to be a guy that's going to be ready for the season. Added bonus is that he worked under Ben Johnson, who we all know is a very good offensive coordinator. So he had a year in that system to work with that guy. And we see what Ben Johnson was able to do once Jared Goff left the Rams, where he kind of, his last year was a little bit of a down year. These last 2 years, he's played at a very high level, led the Lions to their first playoff win in decades. So I think if we add that guy to our competition, I think that can be a very, very good thing for our team. And if nothing else, it shouldn't cost us a lot, hopefully. And we just add more talent to that quarterback room. And I think you can. And since we didn't add a really guy in this draft, I think that's something we should definitely consider.
Yeah, and does it happen? Probably not. We heard all the talk after this rookie mini camp. Telesco and AP got a unified front. We're all in on Gardner Minshew and AOC. As much as that sounds like they're gonna say all the right things. Let's come on. Like, if you've been watching football long enough, they're not gonna down their guys. They're not gonna disrespect the guys that they have on the roster. So they're gonna say all the right things. But if there's a player that the Raiders can add that can possibly add some competition to that room that has some upside, does a guy like Telesco look into that? Is he savvy enough to be like, what? Can we get a third round pick? I mean, they drafted him in the third round. I don't know what his trade compensation could be. I think the Lions have the leverage, just because they don't have to trade him. He's getting paid pennies.
They don't.
As far as like rookies, so I think they have the leverage. So it's going to be tough to possibly get rid of him, or not get rid of him to actually get him for actually a cheap deal, as far as like if it's going to be a 5th, 4th round draft pick. But I know if the Raiders don't do it, I don't know why. I can picture this. Ben Johnson has been the OC for the last how many years for the Lions? Every year. Every year he's been talked about as a head coach candidate. Every year he's been talked about a head coach, but he's so bought into the building for the Detroit Lions, how they're building a winning program. He's just come back. I don't know. Maybe he hasn't liked the options or the jobs in the NFL. But you rarely see that. When an OC has that opportunity to become head coach, they usually come back. I mean, they usually go for that head coaching opportunity. But for some reason, he likes what he's building with Detroit, and that whole organization. And obviously, they're going to make a Super Bowl run next year. I think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender. But if he becomes head coach, I could see him trading for a Hendon Hooker. I could see that happening. You see it all the time. The coaches always go for players that they're familiar with. And if he believes in the talent of Hendon Hooker, what makes you think that he wouldn't do that trade? Especially if it's a team that maybe might be stuck in the later rounds or doesn't have a good draft pick. We see all the time. And then I could see that happening as well. But I hope the Raiders consider the move. I hope they can possibly. I know Raider Nation, y'all good with AOC and Gardner Minshew. But look, man, I'm always looking for the next best move. I'm always trying to. In my mind, I want the Raiders to be the best possible team out there. And if I feel like, hey, a guy like Hendon Hooker, who has some upside compared to the players that we have at that position at this roster, if we can get him for a reasonable deal, I would say go ahead and do that. But that's just me. I put a poll actually right now in the chat. And let's see. Okay, so I put, should the Raiders trade for Hendon Hooker? 65% or 67% say yes, and 33% saying no. Why y'all saying no to this, man? Come on, man. Yeah. Why y'all saying no to this? I just don't understand. Why would y'all say no to this, man?
And then I think it's a situation where even if the Lions, their first option isn't to trade him, but I think it could be a situation where like Hendon Hooker is 26 years old. He's going to be locked up till he's 29 or 20, or till he's 20, and if they pick up his fit, no, he did till he's 29, his 4-year contract. So there might be a situation where he goes to the organization like, look, I essentially have no chance of ever starting here. Like, why don't you guys just let me go to a place where I at least have an opportunity to compete for the starting job? And I think that the Lions, the Lions organization might do right by him.
Hey, man. My guy, man, hey, look, I want to put your comment on there or whatever, but the name got to change, man. I can't do it. I just read your name and it was. If y'all saw that, man, man. You're funny. You're a funny man. Then all right. Well, look, hey, Save B Layer, my guy say, hey, man, hey, so nice of you to join us, man. Appreciate you coming through. Hey man, you still subscribe to us, man. I appreciate it. He says, "Hey dude, if you're going to do a poll, then be ready to see both from both sides." Okay, you gotta write that a little better. Say B Layer, come on, man. Otherwise, just preach your position. That's exactly what we're doing, and I'm gonna speak for myself as well as Severe and you know, we're reading out what people are saying in the chat. Obviously, if I don't agree, I'm gonna let you know I don't agree, and then obviously you don't agree, you let me know you don't agree. So that's what we gonna do, man. That's what we gonna do. So I understand that, man. But anyways, back to the chat. So we got some people in the building. Looks okay. My guy Raider Smoke in the building, man. He knows how to show some support, man. My guy.
Yeah, hey.
He says, "Hell nah, I ain't cool with AOC and Minshew." He keeps it real. Look, hey, look. Hey, I'm all for supporting the team and the players that we have. 100%. Look, if that's the players that we have on our team, yes, I'm supporting whoever the starting quarterback is, whoever's starting on a team for sure. But if we can upgrade that position, why not? Yeah. Or possibly add more competition.
Add more competition, man. If that's the thing. If Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, if they're the person that's going to lead this organization to the playoffs or beyond next year, possibly, I don't think there's anything wrong with adding some competition. Because if they're better than whoever we add, then you know it shouldn't be a problem with them beating those guys out. I just think that Hendon Hooker adds a level of talent, and he also adds a level of mobility that we don't really have with either of the guys on the roster. Also, you know, much more arm talent as well. So I think it's a situation where, you know, it's a win-win situation. You know, you either have a guy that's going to potentially start for you, or you have, you know, more depth at the position. I think either way you can't lose. But like I said, likely won't happen. But I think that it's something that I think the Raiders should look into.
Okay, Sabular says, "Fair, I was saying that a poll invites different positions, then you're questioning someone not voting the way you like." Look, I'm of course I'm a question. I'm gonna be like, what are y'all thinking? But that's just me speaking out loud. Like I'm not gonna be overly critical about your opinion. But I'm gonna say that I disagree with it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like that's all I'm trying to say. I think you're looking into it too much. But if I misread your comment, my bad. But it sounds like you being a little bit overly critical. But you know, it is what it is. All good, man. But hey, man. So we got house junkies in the building. He says, "Salute Raider Nation, go Raiders, let's go." Hey, man, I got you, man.
No.
All right, so let's look at the final numbers. It's pretty close, man. I'm surprised. It's pretty close. And let's see the final numbers here. We got 57% say yes, 42% say no. Okay. Interesting. You know what I mean? Hey, Raider Nation, man. They are all in on AOC and Gardner Minshew. And you know what? From what it sounds like, AP and Telesco are all in. We'll see if they try to upgrade that position. We'll see if they try to add some talent if it comes available. You know, we'll see, man, because we know that like that quarterback position is it's an important position, man. And AP, he didn't sign a big time long term contract, so he knows that like he can only go as far as the quarterback that's on his team. As confident he is as coaching that defense up and the team. We'll see how it shakes out, man. But hold on 1 second, Severe. If you could hold down the chat real quick, my guy.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. I'm good. Look. So Vils 559. If you want to address this real quick, he says I'm good to see more on AOC. He played well in college and has some amazing intangibles. If you want to speak to this real quick.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm all for intangibles, right? But there's only so far that intangibles will take you. Like every year we get these guys that were great in college, but their skill set doesn't necessarily translate fully to the NFL. I think that while AOC, he has the intangibles, he lacks some of the other aspects of the position that you need, right? I don't think he has great arm talent. He's not very mobile. He's not very accurate under pressure. So, you know, all that stuff adds up. So I think that could be an issue, especially when we're in one of the better divisions in all of football. We have the reigning Super Bowl champions. We have the Chargers being coached by Jim Harbaugh, who has traditionally every year he goes to a team. They're usually they usually improve their first year by leaps and bounds. And then we have the Broncos, who we've been beating up on these past few years, but it's still they still have talent on that defense. With PS2, they have some pretty solid pass rushers up front as well. So I just think that AOC, I like him, and I commend him for what he did last year in tough circumstances. But we're talking about adding competition. If he's the best man for the job, then he'll be the best man for the job. So if we're scared to, and I think that's the situation we run into. We don't want to add competition, especially at that position, right? I think at the quarterback position, we will likely have the third or the fourth best quarterback in the division, and I would rather have somebody that we're likely not going to find somebody that's better than Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert, but I think we need to find somebody that can at least be in that same realm. And I don't think Aiden O'Connell is going to be in that same realm. So watching this college film, he made incredible throws under pressure. We can't just look at the trash fire offense system he was thrown into last season. I think he was actually thrown into a much more advantageous situation later in the year than what he was at in the beginning of the year. If you look at what he did under Josh McDaniels, the man fumbled 3 times through multiple interceptions. So I think that he was actually benefited from not having the previous regime coaching him and having a more simplified playbook with everybody kind of more on the same page with that team synergy. I think that was the most ideal situation for him. And, he still, while he didn't play horribly, he didn't play great. And the games that we were winning outside of that Chargers game, those games were mostly being won by the defense. And coming off of bye week when we needed him most, right? When we needed some kind of production, he failed. Even when we go look at the Christmas Day game, the game that we won, against the Chiefs, everybody wants to point out he's the last quarterback to beat the Chiefs for the Raiders. But he also didn't complete a pass for 3 quarters. So it's a situation where, like I said, I mean, I support him. I want him to do well, but I just think that quarterback position is a position that can be improved upon. Whether Gardner Minshew is the improvement, or whether we find improvement by other means, either via the draft, like I thought we should have, or through a trade, I'm always looking to improve in that position.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate everybody. Patience. Let's move on. Safety Larry says, Severe, your assessment is well thought out. That said, with a year or 2 under his belt, he shows his potential. Competition rules the day. Okay, that's fair to say. Yeah, man. So let's move it along, man. Hey, man, it's that time of the show, man. It's that time of the show that we like to get into. It's flag on the play.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Hey, man, giving him the business this week on Flag on the Play, man. If y'all don't know, man, Flag on the Play is anything that we have issue going around the league, NFL. It doesn't have to be necessarily what's going on in the sports world, but this indirectly has something to do with how we view the NFL, the football team, our favorite football teams, especially on this channel, it's the Raiders.
Yes.
Have y'all noticed how expensive it is to watch? The NFL. Obviously, if you're a fan of the Raiders, you're also a fan of the football, the NFL. So you want to catch as much games as possible. There's only how many weeks in a year that you can watch your team. We all know the NFL is all year round, but as far as the game being played, it happens a certain part of the year. And during that time, there's the Sunday ticket and all that good stuff. But I just found this on social media, and it was a post, and it was breaking down the cost of how much it would take for an NFL fan to watch all the games next year. And let me go ahead and actually put this on the screen so you guys can take a look here. 1 second here. And as you can see it on the screen, man, it will potentially cost NFL fans $850 to watch every game next season.
That's crazy.
So we all know. Look. We all know that the NFL, they made a deal with YouTube. It was a historically huge deal. But if you were to break it down, it's $72.99 for YouTube TV. As you can see in Prime Video, Peacock, ESPN Plus, Netflix. That's a total of $506, which doesn't include the $349 it would cost for Sunday ticket, which pretty much now is that total cost. You might as well just get season tickets at Allegiant Stadium. Yeah, just might as well. Just if you're gonna be paying that much, man.
$855. That's not even enough for one ticket in the Allegiant Stadium.
That is crazy. Am I tripping? Is this is crazy? It's never been this much. But I think this has been the goal for NFL is to make more money, and this is the way they're making more money. They're cutting deals with everybody they can cut deal with. YouTube TV, Prime Video, Peacock, ESPN Plus. After they left DirecTV, it's been open season. But I guess for NFL fans, man, to be honest with you, like there's ways where you can go around this, but I don't know I don't want to get flagged.
Who got Netflix for $6.99? That's the cheapest I done seen. My Netflix ain't $6.99. I gotta look into that. That's
probably like the non-HD version, only one TV, one device. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I thought this was crazy. This is definitely a flag on the play. Man, this is crazy, man. And not hopefully, it is what it is, man. You're gonna pay up, or you're just gonna find another way to watch this team, or watch the NFL, man. Because I know that they announced that there's gonna be at least two. There's been rumors about there's gonna be two NFL games on Christmas Day next year, and then that Saturday they're gonna have something, and it's probably gonna be on peak. It's crazy, man. Like back in the day, it was so simple. You know, it's just so simple. Sunday ticket, just get the Sunday ticket, and that's you want to watch your teams. That's how you do it. Now it's like you gotta get all these subscriptions, and man, it's crazy, man. But Space Beast. Let me get back to it real quick. Take this off the screen. He says that's what got me. He said that's what got me $6.99 for Netflix.
Yeah, I ain't never seen $6.99. That was when Netflix first dropped. It was like $6.99.
It might be the cheapest version. Cheapest version no one gets because it's like you could only stream it off like one device, and it's like non-HD. It's black and white, and the connection is inconsistent at times. Man, look, Ray Love says that's insane. Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, but
I know
that's cheaper than going to one game at Allegiant, though, bro.
I know it's $21.99, but that you probably got you probably got like full 4K and all the HD. Man, it's Hey, I didn't want to say it. But I'm gonna let my guy Raider Smoke say it, man. I'm gonna let my guy Raider Smoke say it, man. Man.
That's the only price we'll pay, brother.
I'll keep watching for the free 99, man. The free 99, man. But yeah, that's definitely a flag on the play, man. And you know what? Even DirecTV was like, that was like questionable too, because I didn't even watch Direct Cable like that. But that's a whole different conversation for another day, man. But that I thought that was a big flag on the play. That being said, let's moving along, man. We got notable quotables, man. If you want to give the people intro to the notable quotables before I put this clip on the screen.
Yes, sir. So today, a few days ago, as we all know, we had our rookie mini camps, and there we had our head coach was speaking to the media, and he was speaking about, about my personal favorite draft pick that we had that time, and he shared some very interesting thoughts on him, man. I just want to see what Raider Nation was feeling about the guy.
All right, here we go.
Antonio, Jackson Powers Johnson looks like a guy that's kind of right up your alley a little bit, and Raiders, as well. What'd you like about the guard from Oregon?
I just love the film. I saw a guy that was gritty, that finished, that strained, that loved the physicality of the game. I saw a leader, saw a winner, saw a guy that just loves football. And, you want that identity up front. You always look at teams. With the best teams, it ain't the skill position, right? You want those gritty guys like we got on our D-line. You want that on the offensive line. And the more of those bad boys we can bring in with Colton Miller, Mumford, and James, that's going to be huge for us. But he has an attitude, man. I mean, talking to him on the phone was emotional even for me because just how excited he was, and it was like, damn, we got it right. Maybe nobody else likes it, but we got it right because it's a match made in heaven.
Whoo, hey man, you know what?
Yes,
and he had one of the best quotes out of minicamp too. Jackson Power Johnson. I think he said if you believe in the logo in the front, then they'll I think they'll pay you back in the. I forgot how the logo went. What was the quote again? I forgot, but it was
something about if you play hard for the logo in the front, then they'll. I forgot what it was. It was a good quote.
It was a great quote. He grew up a Raider fan. That's all you got to know. Born a Raider, always a Raider, man. Hey, look, you could tell he's excited. He's a passionate player. He's a nasty player at that online position. And man, we'll get into Jackson Powers Johnson in a little bit too as well. But yeah, man,
he a fan.
Hey, I had a brain freeze, man. Like I literally was reading that quote like the whole weekend, but it is what it is. But yeah, man, that was AP. Yeah, make sure to check out that press conference. He had a little bit of nuggets, talking about the Raiders. The first time we talked about it earlier. First time he talked to the media in a little bit after having a full off season of just going on a tour, AP tour, talking to everybody, going on all these types of podcasts. But there was a little bit of a out of sight, out of mind moment. Like he just was kind of, we didn't really hear from AP. We just seen him in like certain footages back in the war room. We seen him and we seen pictures of him. Whatever the case may be, we didn't hear from AP for a little bit, but yeah. That being said, yeah, man, I think that's probably their best draft pick as far as value too, as well. If you think about it, like getting a guy like that, I didn't even think they he was able to get out the first round, and we were able to get him in the second round, and especially at a position of need too. But Rundown brought it up too as well. Like he's gonna be playing that that left guard position. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
like, they're gonna. I thought he was going to be on there. I thought they're going to put him on that right side, but that's going to be interesting, man. If him going to left guard and what they do at that right side, most likely Parham is the guy that they would probably be there at the right side. But we'll see how it shakes out. But the next notable quotable, if we want to give the people the intro.
Yeah. So our general manager, who is, I'm not a fan of right now, but he did an interview today on the NFL Network, and they asked him a question about our quarterback situation. And the way they phrased the question was interesting, and the way he answered it was very interesting as well. I'll let you guys play it, and I'll give you my thoughts a little bit afterwards.
Oh, my guy, 808 Raider, my guy. He says, would John, man, what's good, man? Appreciate you coming through. He says, would JPJ be a candidate at right tackle? Nah, man. I think he's the interior O-line. I think he's going to be a future at that center position. But as of right now, I think they're going to slot him in at that left guard spot, that guard spot. We'll see when training camp rolls around. We'll see what the best combination is. I think that's what they're going to figure it out. But from what it sounds like, he's going to be that left guard. He's going to be at that guard spot for sure. But yeah, let's get back to notable quotables. Let me go ahead and set this up for y'all, man.
In particular, is Aiden at the point where he's progressing enough to push Gardner Minshew for QB1?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the plan is, we have both those guys really compete through the offseason program, but more so in training camp. And we'll see how it plays out. I thought Aiden did an excellent job last year in a really difficult situation where, the head coach changed, the coordinator changed, and he played really good football down the stretch. I've had a chance to be around him a little bit more here in the building, and you kind of see the quarterback intangibles that are there, which is nice to have, which you have to have as a franchise quarterback. And then with Gardner, Gardner played well last year with the Colts. He was in the Pro Bowl, so obviously he had a pretty good year. And he's always performed at a high level when he's given that opportunity. So to have both those guys here competing for the job, and we'll see where it goes.
How do you view that room in particular? Is Aiden at the point where...
Yeah, this is just one of those, man. When I heard it, man, it's one of those like politically correct answer. Like we got what we got, competition in a room.
Yeah,
I mean,
so what was interesting to me is that how the guy set up the question, and he asked, "Is Aiden O'Connell pushing Gardner Minshew for the starting role?" And Tom Telesco didn't push back on that notion. He let that ride. He didn't say, "Oh, right now both guys are competing. We haven't named our starter yet, or there's not one guy in front of the other." He was just like, "Oh yeah," he's like basically he agreed with the premise of the question. So I thought that was very interesting, especially considering what we heard, earlier earlier in the week from Antonio, or last week from Antonio Pierce regarding the quarterback position, which we'll get into a little bit later. So just how the question was framed and how he answered the question, kind of going along with the framing. I thought that was very interesting. Maybe it was like some subconscious thing where he's like, Gardner is ahead right now, and AOC is chasing Gardner, in his mind, because, like I said, he didn't necessarily push back on the premise or how the question was framed.
Yeah, it's definitely competition. I think AP is just trying to give AOC some confidence, and the fact that he played hard for him at the end of the season with tough circumstances. Obviously, I'm sure the guys in the locker room like AOC, but he's just giving them. I don't think just because he's getting first team snaps, AOC's getting first team snaps, I don't think it means that AOC has the position locked up. It's just a formality, in my opinion. I think it's just a formality. I think at the very, it's going to be a competition, and we'll figure it out who wins that spot by training camp. You would hope AOC, younger player, he's coming off his rookie year, a little bit more upside. Maybe he's the guy, and we'll get into it in a little bit. Daniel Kim got the quote. He has the quote right here. This is what the quote was, man. Appreciate you, my guy. The king of mods is in the building, man. He says, "Play hard for the logo on the front, and they'll bless the name on the back." Yeah, man. That's that. JPJ, man. Jackson Powers Johnson had the quote of the mini camp: "Play hard for the logo on the front. They'll bless the name on the back." Yeah, he was talking about, man. He was saying all the right things, man. He says, "My first game was a Raider game." And
versus the 49ers, I think it was versus the 49ers.
Was it versus the 49ers? Man, that's the that's the first game is against the Niners, man. It's almost meant to be right there, man. Like, and hopefully it was a win. Hopefully it was one of the Raiders wins against the 49ers.
No. I think he said we lost, but I don't remember.
Hey, but you know what? Hey, man, look, he's a Raider fan, so you know what it is, man. He knows what it is. Yeah. But look, appreciate you, my guy, Raider Room, one of the best IGs out here, man. Look, he says if you buy, look, he got the quote too right here, man. So make sure to check him out. One of the best IGs out there for Raider news and all that good content. Make sure to check him out. My guy, Raider Room in the building, man. Appreciate you. Yes, AJ Simpson says, AP said everybody name but Dylan Parham. Okay.
Reading into it?
My guy AJ Simpson is reading between the lines.
I know, right?
Did Dylan Parham to give him a, you know what I mean? Like, one of them shoulder. Didn't say excuse me, and like he just bumped him.
Exactly, straight bumped him.
Who knows? We might be reading into it a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out, man. But let's move it along, man. We got what's real, what's not, and with the first one here, let me pull this up here. And in this segment, man, we just like to say a statement, and we react to it and say if it's real or it's not. If y'all can let us know in the chat as well, whatever the statement is that we say. Just let us know if it's real or it's not. So I'm going to go ahead and read off this first statement. So this kind of speaks to a lot what people have been talking about, right? We've been talking about that quarterback position. And, AP did come out and say that, AOC will be taking the first QB1 snaps. So he's going to be, in that first position to begin with.
Yeah.
But we all know that's a formality. It's going to be a competition there. That being said, Aiden O'Connell will hold off Gardner Minshew and start the season at QB1. So this is the statement right here. Is this real or not? Aiden O'Connell will hold off Gardner Minshew and start the season at QB1. Is that real or is it not? So let us know in the chat. Severe, if you want to lead off.
Yeah, man. First, shout out to Marty Mark. Shout out to 808 in the chat.
Man, shout out, John, man. Shout out 808.
Yeah, I must say that is not real. I must say that Gardner Minshew will eventually take over as QB1, and I think for our first game of the year, he will be the guy that is starting under center for the Raiders. I think ideally, as you already kind of said, ideally, Aiden O'Connell is that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that, Gardner Minshew adds an element of not only kind of been there, done that. I think he, even though he's a smaller guy, he has a little bit he has a little bit more arm talent, and he's more mobile than Aiden O'Connell. I think Aiden O'Connell, he's a bigger body. I think he's a very smart guy, but I don't think he can hold off long enough to. I don't think he can keep. Dude, Pharaoh's bro. I think Minshew's going to take over eventually, man. Ideally, I think all of us in the nation are kind of rooting for Aiden O'Connell just because he's the guy who we drafted. We want to see him succeed, but I just think that right now, Gardner Minshew is the better player.
It's gonna be tough, man. I want to see. I want to see what another full offseason. I want to see how it looks like in training camp. I want to see the coaching staff take a look at who the best man will be. I want the players to figure that out. It's so much time. It's so early, man. We'll see how it's a competition. But I see what you're saying. If we're gonna get the same OC from last year, and if it's down to Gardner Minshew, we've seen what happened when the Colts played the Raiders. Gardner Minshew outplayed him. He made more plays at the end. He was the grittier one. He found a way to win, and he made it happen. He almost took that team to the playoffs, but almost is not playoffs. So that's my thing with Gardner Minshew. He's solid. He's been that backup. He's that journeyman guy. I understand Raider Nation. We're familiar with journeyman guys. We had a Rich Gannon. You know what I mean? Probably one of the best journeyman guys that came to the Raiders. You know what I mean? Obviously the best was a Super Bowl winner in Jim Plunkett, but you got an MVP out of Rich Gannon. Do we get that out of Minshew? I don't know about that, man. It's a crapshoot. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think it's tough, but SoCal Sal, man, you had me in tears. He said, "If you built it, it will come." Oops, wrong quote. Yeah, man. Well, Raiders Rebels is still waiting to be blessed.
I know. He said he's been repping the name for forever. He's still waiting to be blessed.
Yeah, man. Hey, man.
I think that's all of us, brother. I think that's all of us, man.
Man, you guys had me in tears, man. AJ Simpson, I think had earlier said that he said arms are too short to ever play tackle. Yeah, he's we all know he's an interior guy. But yeah, man, I think it's real. I'm gonna believe that. I'm gonna believe in it. I'm gonna believe that AOC got better from his rookie year. I'm gonna believe that AOC is in a situation where he's going to succeed. I don't think last year you can really say that he was set up for success. As much as we could talk about the talent, we all know we've seen all types of talent on the football field, but it just didn't look right. And we can point to why that is, and the biggest reason, McDaniels. That system was set up for failure. It just didn't work. Players didn't figure it out. We had one of the worst offenses. Obviously, we didn't score enough points. We literally lost a 3-0 game. And that's with AP coaching that team, but it wasn't that much. I think AP probably did a better job with the team offensively. Not to say he coached the team offensively, but coaching the team overall. But offensively, they were better under AP than they were under McDaniels that year. So that should tell you how bad it was offensively. Like, even an offensive mind and offensive genius and McDaniels, it didn't work. So what I'm saying is that AOC had to had to literally play through that. A guy that literally didn't play any. He didn't get any snaps last offseason because guys like Jimmy G and Brian Hoyer and it just wasn't a good situation, healthy situation. Now he has a full offseason. You got AP behind him talking about like, hey, you know what? He's earned the right to take that QB1 snap. And then from there, it's on AOC. Now it's on him to succeed, and if he wins it, he wins it. I think AOC is gonna be the guy, man. I think AOC could beat out a Gardner Minshew. And I think it's in their best interest. If we can find a way where AOC can come out and be productive, because he has a better arm. I think he could. I think he got a better arm.
That's debatable. That's debatable.
It's not huge. I'm not saying it's a huge arm. It's not no Anthony Richardson or it's not even Derek Carr. You know what I mean? I understand it, but I don't think I think AOC has a better arm than Minshew, in my opinion, and probably more accurate too. Especially, I'm going with AOC, man. I don't know about you. I think that lack of mobility is clouding your judgment right now. I think that lack of mobility is clouding your judgment. If he could figure out,
I'm looking at 62% completion percentage last year. It's not, that's it's not the best, man.
Yeah, but I don't think that offense was good at all. I don't think that system was good at all. I don't think anybody, if you put anybody in there, who played well in that system? Who? I mean, maybe but Josh Jacobs year one and
Zamir White played well.
Yeah, running the ball like Zamir White played well, but then like it didn't work, man. There was no results when it comes to that offense, and I don't think it was all on AOC. I think now you got a whole different regime, whole different offensive staff. They're gonna build an offense built knowing what the plan is. Now, like I think there's a positive if you know that AOC and Minshew is your quarterbacks. Now you're gonna build a system catered around their strengths, right? You would think, right? You would think that, okay, we know these are gonna be the guys, so we're gonna build an offensive instead of them being the backups that come in and they're playing in a system that's catered under another quarterback's skill set. I think I don't know. I'm all in on AOC. I know you, and I can hear you. I understand where you're coming from. Let's hear from the people. Earlier today, I put a chat out, and I asked the nation, man, who should start at QB when it's all said and done. Let me go ahead and put this on the screen. Let's see here. Let me put this on the screen so everybody can see. As you can see it on the screen right here, who should start at QB when it's all said and done, AOC or Minshew? And man, 80% says AOC. Minshew mania, 20%.
They love them. They love them some Aiden O'Connell, man. They love them some Aiden O'Connell, which makes sense, man. He's like I said, he's a guy that we drafted. They're going to support the guys that we draft, so that's kind of what I expect from Raider Nation. Like I said, ideally, that is the guy who's a starter. Ideally, that's who start for us. But I don't know, man. I don't know. He had some of the best skill position players of any quarterback last year. If you look at what we have in Devontae, look at what we have in what people thought of feel about Josh. What people feel about Jacoby Myers. We heard what Puka Nacua said, right? When they asked who was the most underrated guy in the league, like he's a guy that he brought up. So I think there was talent there. He had much more talent than, let's say, a guy like Gardner Minshew, right? He had way more talent than Gardner Minshew had to work with, and he struggled. Now Gardner Minshew has the experience on his side, but if AOC doesn't, if he doesn't improve, in my opinion, then I think he's not going to eke out that competition. I think Gardner Minshew is going to be the better player.
Below Zero says he has arm and leg talent, but the system needs to be ideal. I think you might be talking about a different QB, man. I think you'd be talking about a different QB. I might be getting into the conversation, but Below says, "Hey, appreciate you coming through, man. It looks like you a Saints fan. So we might be seeing you in New Orleans possibly in the near future. You know what I mean? And
thank y'all for taking Derek Carr off our hands, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And we're going to be walking out of there. The Raiders going to be walking out there with a W, man. I'm going to be in New Orleans celebrating. With that said, y'all, good talk. Appreciate the get down, like, subscribe. Hey, appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you coming through. Man, House Junkie says, talk is cheap. Action will speak louder than words this season for the Raiders. Yeah, no, facts. Hey, at the end of that's all that matters, man. But yeah, man, this has been a great show, man. I'm trying to get to everybody's chat real quick, man. James Furpa, as usual, comes through with the Raiders chant, man. I got you, my guy. Appreciate you coming through, man. James always comes through with the Raiders chant as usual, man. Vil says Aiden's job to lose. Okay. Okay, man. Let's see, man.
Technically, he was a starter last year, so technically that's kind of what it is.
Hey, no doubt, man. 808 said, man, I keep remembering the draft party. That was fire. You all put in a hell of a show. Hey, man, appreciate it, man. Yeah, hey, man, hopefully we can get some in the near future and in the future as well, man. It was a great show, man. Make sure to check that out, man. It was dope, man. At the A Hearn Hotel, man, one of the hidden gems in Las Vegas. Yes. Make sure to check it out. My guy John, man, I appreciate you, my guy. Hey, Dodgers Everything says much appreciated below. Okay. Okay, I got people. Hey, man, the chat is going wild, man. Y'all having conversation within conversations, man. I'm trying to get to everybody's chat. Let's see. Man, we got AJ Simpson says, I think O'Connell wins the starting QB job and never looks back. That's what I hope it is. That's what I hope.
Hopefully,
because I think we know.
Hopefully.
I think we know where we're gonna get out of Gardner Minshew. I'm not sure where. I don't like where. Do you see any upside with Gardner Minshew? Do we see upside?
Yeah. I don't think Gardner, much like Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew has never had the set of weapons that he's going to have at his disposal this year. He's never been in that kind of situation before. So, last year he was missing Taylor for most of the year. Michael Pittman was hurt part of the year. He was working with Josh Downs, who's a rookie. So he really didn't have this complement of weapons. So I don't think we've seen what he can do in a good situation like this. When he's has this this plethora of skill players, plus you're adding a guy like Brockbowers, who everybody's in love with, a guy like Michael Mayer, who I think still has some potential to mine as well. I think he's in a great situation. So I think you add his savvy, his mobility, his moxie, his style of leadership, but with this kind of team, I don't think we've seen his ceiling yet. We for sure haven't seen Aiden O'Connell's yet, because he's only played 1 year. But I don't think we've seen the best of Gardner Minshew. I think if when we picked up Rich Gannon, right, we talked about Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon was like 34 years old, I want to say, when we grabbed him, possibly older than that. People would have said, oh, you know what, we've seen everything Rich Gannon can do. But that wasn't the case. But just because he had never been in that right situation. So, and I feel the same way about Gardner Minshew. I don't think Gardner Minshew has been in any ideal situation as well. He's always been looked at as the second guy, right? He's never been the guy that's came in and is like, hey, you know what? You're our guy. He's always been kind of a placeholder, or you're going to be a very strong backup. Now he has a legit chance to win the starting job. So let's see what he can do. All right, let's look at Gardner Minshew, man. Last year, he was with the Colts. He started a lot of the games last year with Anthony Richardson being hurt. I think Anthony Richardson was a starter coming out of training camp, game one, AR-15, their draft pick, their number 4 pick last year in the draft in 2023 was a starter for the Colts. He ends up getting hurt after the 4th or 5th game. It was early in the season. From that point on, Minshew was a starter. Minshew came in and he was winning games. But wouldn't you say that Minshew's played under probably a better offensive-minded coach with Steichen? And the Colts? Better offensive-minded coach, but with much less weapons. I think he's like he didn't have anybody. Michael Pittman is barely better than Jacoby Myers. He's better than Jacoby Myers, but he's barely better than Jacoby Myers. I don't know. I think barely better than Jacoby Myers. He's better. He's better, but then he also missed part of the year as well. So he also was gone for a few games. He didn't have Jonathan Taylor most of the year. It's like Josh Downs was a rookie. So like, who did he really have?
Yeah.
So he had a better offensive mind, but he had.
I'll take Pittman. I'll take Pittman over Jacoby
Yeah.
Myers.
I'm saying Pittman is better than Jacoby Myers, but how much better than Jacoby Myers? So see, their number one receiver, their clear number one, who was injured part of the year, was barely better than our number two receiver.
Okay, but then when you look at the Colts, like look at their strengths, right? Their run game. Like they
Jonathan Taylor missed most of the year. Taylor missed the beginning.
But Zach Moss was productive. Moss was one of the like I thought the Raiders probably should have.
Zamir White was productive. Productive.
Not like Zach Moss though. I think Zach Moss showed more than what Zamir White showed in the time that he played and started.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh man, come on, man! Don't make me pull up. Come on, man. Look. Gardner Minshew last year. Gardner Minshew last year had 15 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. 15 touchdowns and 9 interceptions under one of the best offensive minds in football in Steichen.
With less weapons. In a system that wasn't designed for his skill set as well. You got to think about that also. That system was designed for the success of Anthony Richardson, not for the success of Gardner Minshew. So we want to give that excuse to AOC. You got to throw that same bone to Gardner Minshew as well.
Okay, and guess what? This system, guess what they're gonna be doing? They're gonna be running the ball.
But I'm saying the passing aspect of the passing aspect of the game, the RPOs, all that stuff. That's not really Gardner Minshew's game. Like he's not a guy that's going to be that should be running QB draws or run these RPOs. That's not. But he was doing that stuff just because that's what the offense called for. So we bring up his passing numbers. Well, his rushing numbers, I'm sure, were exceptionally higher than what Aiden O'Connell did.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I'm not even going to look at that. I'm not even going to look at rushing.
But no,
numbers.
but you have to take that into account. So if you say he's at 15 and 9, you also have to take into account his rushing numbers also.
But I think you might be overdoing like him as a mobile QB. I think
I'm not but I'm saying that's the offense he was running. So he was asked to do those things. That wasn't part of his skill set.
Okay, so last year Zach Moss had 794 yards, and mind you, Taylor ended up coming back because he was holding out. Yeah. Remember, he missed first portion of that season, and he ended up coming back after whatever was going on with him in the front office. He got his contract, he got paid, he ended up coming back, but Zach Moss played well with the Colts while he was in his absence. He averaged 4.3 yards per carry. Let's look at the game logs. Let's look at some of the games that because Zach Moss, I ain't gonna lie, was a guy that I thought the Raiders should have looked into signing. I was like, man, that would have been a nice pickup because he ended up going to the Bengals for a very reasonable contract. And I was like, man, the Raiders should have looked into signing him, especially when you're going into, a season where, I know Zamir White, I like him, but maybe some competition would. Maybe adding a guy that played well last year for a cheap contract like that would be a smart move. But the Bengals snatched up and signed him up. So look, let's look. Okay, so he had his best game came against the Titans where he had 23 carries, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had another 100-yard game, 30 carries, 122 yards. His last game where he had not that last game. This is okay. I'm reading this backwards. My bad. So when did Jonathan Taylor come back? Was it week 6?
It was a minute though. I don't recall. It took him a minute to come back. I don't recall exactly when. Yeah, but the Colts also have one of the better run blocking offensive lines in the league too. So that's not something that Zamir White had at his disposal. So what did Zamir White average? What was his average per carry?
Let me go look up Zamir White real quick, And let's take a look, man.
And then put that in context with what Josh Jacobs did. So look at what Zamir White did and what Jonathan Taylor did, their yards per carry. Then look at what Josh Jacobs did under his offense and what Zamir White did, and look at the difference between the two.
Well, I'm not making this a Zamir White versus Josh Jacobs. I'm just looking at like, because you made it seem like that Zamir White played better than Zach Moss did. I thought Zach Moss was like one of the surprise players last year. Like he came in and actually played pretty well. He made it seem. The point I'm making is that if you look at what Josh Jacobs did, right? Look at his yards per carry. Just look at Josh Jacobs' yards per carry. Then look at what Zamir White did. Look at his yards per carry. Zach Moss, I guarantee you, Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor probably were very similar in their yards per carry, if not, the exact same. If you look at what Josh Jacobs did yards per carry and what Zamir White did yards per carry, it was astronomically different. So, I can't roll with that, because then look, because on one end you could say, oh well, look how well Zamir White played when Josh Jacobs didn't play as well. But then what happens if Jonathan Taylor is playing better than Josh Jacobs? That's a better player. You can argue that Jonathan Taylor is a better player, right?
Yeah, he's a better player.
So that. But
I'm saying, that same token, Zamir White produced better than Jonathan Taylor. Yards per carry, he did better than Jonathan Taylor. Yards per carry, he did better than Zach Moss.
So
with the worst offensive line.
So Jonathan Taylor averaged 4.4 yards. Zach Moss averaged 4.3 yards.
Okay, so about the same.
And as soon as Jonathan Taylor came back, you could understand like most of the carries went to Jonathan Taylor, the guy that they just paid and gave the contract. We understand, like we ain't got to talk about that. But what I'm saying is that like because the whole argument started like, oh well, Minshew didn't have a lot to work with. But Jonathan Downs, I thought was a really good young receiver for them. I like
he's a rookie. He was pretty solid as a rookie.
Yeah, we mentioned
Pierce is okay as a rookie.
Yeah, so there's
not a rookie,
some,
but he was okay receiver.
Right, and solid receiver for them. But my point is that like the main point is that you got an OC that's creative enough, that's good enough of a play caller to play well under. You know what I mean? And Minshew played under that, and he had 15 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. I'm not saying that he's going to play terrible with the Raiders. I'm just saying AOC is going to play. AOC's going to.
He didn't have this complement of weapon.
That's AOC's competition, is what I'm trying to say. And if that's AOC's competition, let's look at what AOC. Let's look at AOC's numbers. Aiden O'Connell, under the worst circumstances, we had one of the worst offensive. Whatever you want to call it.
He had some of the best skilled players in the league. You keep talking about do we have a top 5 wide receiver core?
Yes, but it didn't work, bro.
Do we not have a top 5 wide receiver core?
It didn't work. It didn't work. Offensive, we didn't have the offensive scheme.
He's part of the reason it didn't work. He's part of the problem.
So AOC had 12 touchdowns and seven interceptions in the games that he started.
So similar numbers.
So what I'm saying is that like he's going against a quarterback that had 3 more touchdowns and two more interceptions. It's not a landslide victory for Gardner Minshew.
I'm not saying it's a landslide, but my point is that we haven't. So while we haven't seen what Aiden O'Connell has done, given a full offseason, given all this stuff, we also haven't seen what Gardner Minshew can do with a full offseason, where he's the guy with these type of weapons. So I'm saying they're both on even playing field, essentially, because neither one of those guys have ever been the guy for their organization.
And another thing to mention too, every quarterback that played under Josh McDaniels' system, this great system, played terrible. Maybe Derek Carr was the best, but we seen what Derek Carr did and how frustrated we were with the offense because it just didn't work as well. You know what I mean? They went and got Jimmy G, their supposed guy, did not work. Brian Hoyer, they brought him out of retirement, did not work.
We know.
You know what I
Come
mean?
on, bro. No, nobody was expecting Brian Hoyer to work though.
But
Brian Hoyer was there.
All I'm saying, we had like different quarterbacks playing with the same weapons that you're talking about, and they weren't productive. So, and I'm not going to argue about the weapons. I agree. Devontae Adams and Myers and all these players should get it done. Even the rookie tight end should have had more impact and more numbers, because we've seen the talent. We be like, hey, this guy can play. How come we not getting involved? How come we not getting involved in the end zone? It's because we had the coaching and the system did not work last year. It didn't work. Right. It just didn't work. So what I'm saying is now you get a whole offseason, even playing field, different system. You have an ability to cater an offense around the strengths of the quarterbacks that we just mentioned. I think AOC kind of edges it out, in my opinion. That's the way I look at it. I'm going for upside. You're playing it safe with Minshew.
No, I'm saying we're putting a cap on Minshew as if we've seen the most he can do. I'm saying we haven't seen everything he can do.
Yeah, hey man, my guy. Raider Smoke with another super chat. He says, can't forget Bo was a first-time play call. There you go too. That's another thing. Yeah. Bo was a rookie in there as a play caller, and he's guess where he's at? Is he an OC somewhere? No, he's back to being a QB coach.
I mean,
which is not
the Raiders
not a bad thing.
The Raiders had opportunity. The Raiders had two guys that had experience calling plays. That Bo was the guy Antonio Pierce chose. So I mean, that's the choice he made. He had Edgar Bennett there who had called plays before. He also had Scott Turner there who had called plays previously as well. So if he wanted an experienced play caller, he had the opportunity to do that. He made his choice based on why he made his choice. I don't know why he made that choice. Yeah, but he made his choice for his reasons.
I wasn't really excited. I wasn't going to be really excited about Scott Turner because he wasn't getting it done with the Commanders. Like, it was hella dink and dunk, whatever. But I get what you're saying. He had the experience. I thought maybe Edgar Bennett might have been a guy that he could have went with, but he went with Bo. That was his choice for whatever reason. It was kind of like a toss-up. At the end of the day, like, you weren't going to fix the issues. Like, their issues were deep-rooted. Like, it's like, I mean, I know this didn't happen last year. This happened in 2022. But you have guys like Hunter Renfrow and Devontae Adams running into each other. What I'm saying is that, like, this was like a deep-rooted issue with the offense, whether you want to say rookie play caller, whether you could say, do the players really understand this offense? Are they thinking too hard? One of the big things when they beat the Giants, that first game where AP was coaching, was one of the big key words they kept saying, simplify. They're trying to simplify things on offense. And that just to tell you everything you need to know. But, you know, it is what it is, man. I'm going with AOC. I hear where you're coming from with Minshew. You're going with experience. You're going with the mobility. You're going with, I get it. But you know, it is what it is, man. Look, we got people in the chat. Speaking of, AJ Sensor says, we know that what Gardner is at this point. We still don't fully know what AOC's ceiling is. I feel like we might as well go with the unknown. Yeah.
We don't know what Gardner is at this point, though. We think we know what Gardner is, but we don't really know what Gardner is.
All right, let me ask you this. Let me word this differently, because this obviously you could be like, oh, okay, I'm going with Minshew. If he's playing, obviously we want the better quarterback to play. Yeah. If it's close, are you going with Minshew or AOC?
If it's close, you go with AOC. You have him for longer term. He's younger, slightly. He's like a year and a half younger, ironically, which is crazy. But yeah, you got him like under team control for this year plus 2 additional years. So I mean, if it's close, then you go with Aiden O'Connell. If for nothing else, then you have longer control over him as a player. But you know, if it's clear cut, then I think you have to do what's right for the organization. You go with Gardner Minshew.
All right. Let's let's get into the chat real quick. He says, Vil says Minshew keeps getting released. If so, if was so great, why would that be? If he was so great, it could be a situation where like teams are so invested in like whatever high pick they drafted or whatever young guy they're developing or whatever guy that's getting paid the most. It's tough when you're like a journeyman player. Like you got to really. It's an uphill battle at the end of the day. I think this is a big opportunity for Gardner Minshew. So, hey, look, he's going to go all in. Like, he's going to try to win this job. From his point of view, it's like, what? I'm going to let this dude beat me out. Nah, this is not gonna happen. This is my opportunity. I think Minshew, he's gonna. Hey, look, it's a good. In some ways, it's a good situation. In some ways, it's like, how good? What's the upside?
Not a good situation.
I mean,
it's a good situation for them. It's not a good situation for us. This is not a good situation for us, bro. At all.
Man. Oh man, that was an alley-oop dunk for Severe right there.
Like AOC and Gardner Minshew gotta be looking at each other like, bro, like we landed in the one spot where we can possibly start. Like, bro, I don't think that there are 31 other NFL teams that if this was their quarterback situation, they'd be pulling their hair out. I don't think like I mean, when I say good situation, I mean competition. Like competition always it always it brings out the best out of players. So whoever wins this battle, it's gonna be we're gonna get the best version of them. Now, is it gonna be enough? That's a whole different question. That's a whole different question. Now, as far as this is the best situation, as far as like having like talent wise, like. Now hey man, it's kind of well known at this point how we felt about the draft and how much we wanted a quarterback to be drafted, Michael Penix and not Aiden O'Connell, but like Jaden Daniels and whatnot. It didn't happen. It couldn't happen. The Raiders were kind of in a situation stuck at number 13. They did what they had to do, and they're fine with going with their quarterbacks at least for this year. But we'll see, man. It's still, we don't know. Don Fain says Minshew has experience fumbling a ball away, 34 fumbles in his career, 8 last year. There is a reason for this being his fourth team in 5 years. Turnovers. That's true. How many fumbles did Gardner Minshew? Not Gardner Minshew. Did Aiden O'Connell have last year? I remember him having 3 in one game.
Well, his first game, but I ain't gonna lie, man. That don't bring up that game.
So we're not.
Come on, man.
So what we're not gonna do is remove context. We want to make excuses and say he had this many fumbles and remove all context and not know exactly the circumstance of these fumbles. I'm bringing up a guy that had 3 fumbles in one game that we all saw. And you're like, oh well, come on now. What you expect? But we don't know the context of these other fumbles.
Okay, so are you gonna give context to that game where he had 3 fumbles that you seen? For Aiden O'Connell, because you're bringing it up, right?
I mean, he got Khalil Mack destroyed. Whoever we had going against him. So I mean, that wasn't all his fault. But I'm saying Gardner Minshew is also a guy who runs with the ball more than Aiden O'Connell too. So these aren't fumbles that he's just having in the pocket. Some of these fumbles are happening with him actually running with the football, something that Aiden O'Connell doesn't do. So if you put Aiden O'Connell in that same situation where you're asking him to actually scramble around and move with the football, how many more fumbles would he have?
Yeah, but also it wasn't just the Khalil Mack destroying the person in front of him. Obviously he had but it was also the play call. Like you got a rookie, you would think. I don't know. I don't know. You can speak to this. Like you would think, like if you're starting a rookie quarterback, you would protect that rookie quarterback. You would try to get him in rhythm. But that's not what Josh McDaniels did. He kind of threw him in there and was like, hey, you got to figure it out. And he almost won the game. He was right there, but even then, like I think I don't know. I didn't like how Josh McDaniels called the game. With the rookie QB. When you know you got a rookie QB, aren't you going to protect that QB, or aren't you going to try to win the game and not put it in his hands?
So,
like, oh man, I don't know.
I mean, so the thing about Josh McDaniels' system is that in most systems, well, not most systems, depending on the kind of system you have. Previously, in a lot of systems, the center calls out the protections. They make all the protection calls at the line of scrimmage. Not in Josh McDaniels' system. The quarterback is responsible for making the protection calls. So leaving all of that responsibility on the rookie, maybe he should have took that responsibility away from him. That would have been more ideal. But he's the guy that is responsible for making those protection calls at the line of scrimmage. And no, he didn't do a great job. But like I said, Josh McDaniels shouldn't have given him that responsibility in his first game, especially going against Khalil Mack and Joey. Well, I don't think Joey Bosa was playing the game, but going against Khalil Mack, you want to have a guy, you want to give them some protection. Just help them out. Take some of that off his plate.
Yeah, but, exactly. Maybe throw a trip here and there. Maybe throw a little tight end, bump him a little bit. He was going one-on-one. They weren't giving him no help. He was going one-on-one. I believe that was against our former right tackle. He now plays for the Giants with his under his
Luminor.
his favorite coach, Carmen Basilio Illuminor, he had a tough game, and Khalil Mack just destroyed him. But it is what it is. 808 Raiders says AOC got to take a page out of Max's book and cross-train MMA, teaching mobility. Hey, man, I wish it was that easy. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see, man. This is going to be big for both Gardner Minshew and AOC. This is like a career defining moment this year. You know what I mean? Either one guy's could take a hold of this starting role, possibly a franchise QB. Even though as much as we could talk about that might be a long shot, this is how they got to look at it. I mean, look, the Raiders right now, they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a strong answer at that quarterback position as of right now. And if one of these guys can answer that, this is a game changer for him. So, Save Blair, he's talking about Minshew's completion percentage. He says for Minshew completion percentage per year, 60, 66, 68, 58, 62. AOC 62 his first year. Potential says AOC wins. Okay. You know what I mean? I like the potential there, because Minshew, I'm just saying, Minshew is Minshew, man. We know what we're going to get with Minshew, Well, we'll see. We'll see. Mike Rain says last year we had 3-second play and a 2-second line. A 3-second play and a 2-second line, man. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. But let's actually, man, we got to get we've been stuck on this first what's real, what's not, man. Let's actually move along to the second one. And a big part of the success next year for the quarterback is going to be that run game. And if we go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and put this, if you want to, do you have it in front of you, Severe?
Grab it. Basically, I'm saying that next year the Raiders will rush for more yards than they have the previous 2 years. Is that real or is that not?
So in totality, the previous 2 years, or just like
no, not total, not like more, per season. So
per season?
Either the past 2 years, one of those being the year that Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing.
You know what? Let's actually go to. Let's look at what their rushing stats were for, because 2022, that's when Josh Jacobs led the league in rushing.
Yes.
Last year, it was kind of inconsistent. I know Zamir White came on late and was solid, but overall, I'm not sure if we were. Let's see here. Let's take a look, man. Let's look at these rushing stats. Before I answer this question. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Previous season, 2023 team stats right here. Let me see if I could try to put this on the screen. I don't know if I could show this right now, but let's see. So let's go offensive stats here.
It's 1,542 yards, which is putrid. It is disgusting. That's disgusting.
1,542 yards. Josh Jacobs alone in 2022 ran more yards than the Raiders did as a team. So I think he ran for at least 1,600 yards in 2022. So I think the Raiders can top that next year, but I think the Raiders can top that next year. But it's hard, man, because Zamir, I don't know. It's kind of a crapshoot with Zamir. I don't know, man. How does Zamir look in a 17-game season? Can he stay healthy? Who's the other running back? I mean, you got another running back who's used to playing in that committee, running back by committee role. He's playing in the zone blocking system. Our guy from that former running back for the Minnesota Vikings. Trying to
Madison.
think. Madison, but then who else? Dylan Lobby is a rookie. Amir Abdullah, third down back. Dylan Lobby's a third down back as well. It's gonna be tough, man. Zamir White gotta be. Hey man, to be honest with you, he gotta be he's a big X factor on his team. Like if he has a big year, Raiders offensively, Raiders as a team could really they can lean on that, man. That could be a big time move. If he could play well, that I think that's going to be a big part of their offense. But it's tough, man. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I'm gonna say. Let me see. What was the total amount in 2022? Let's look at 2022.
I think like 2,059, something like that.
2,000.
I want to say 2,000.
that means guaranteed Zamir got to run for 1,000. He has to. That's basically what you're asking.
2,000.
You're asking if is Zamir White going to run for 1,000 yards this season?
Yes.
Let's take a look. Let's see. So 2,059 yards. That's how much yards they ran in 2022. Josh Jacobs, like I said before, had more yards in 2022 than the Raiders had in 2023, which is last season. Josh Jacobs in 2022 ran for 1,653 yards, 12 touchdowns. You know, that was a big-time year, his all-pro year, elite year. But then the fall-off was real in 2023. He ran for 1,000 yards some other years too as well, man. Don't make it seem like he wasn't doing nothing. I think
I'm gonna say he was doing nothing, but it's the only elite year.
Yeah, you can say that. All the other years you can say was good. He was good. Not great.
Yeah, solid to good.
Ah, man, I see.
Solid to good.
Severe, man. Come on, man.
Solid to good,
man. Don't hate on Josh Jacobs like that, man. I think
it was solid to good. I think that's giving him credit, bro. He was giving him credit. Solid to good.
He was basically our offense. We were leaning on Josh Jacobs for the most part. I mean, even that year in 2021 when we went to the playoffs, we leaned on
down the stretch. Yeah, down the stretch. But the beginning of that year, he was banged up. And
he was banged up, and the O-line was terrible. O-line play was terrible.
But that's exactly what we said last year. Like, how you expect Josh Jacobs to run behind this line? As soon as Zamir White gets in there, he's productive. It's like as soon as he gets in there, he's productive. Oh, he expect Josh Jacobs to run behind this line. This line ain't never blocking for nobody. As soon as Zamir White's going there, 100 yards, 100 yards. So it's like we're moving these goalposts, bro. Josh Jacobs he's
all right. When did Josh McDaniels get fired? What game was it? What game was it? Was it after the Bears game? It was something. It was after Halloween. It was Halloween. It was
after the Lions game.
After the Lions, yeah, Monday Night Football, Lions game. So let's. I wanna try to time this up. I want to see if there's, because we all know that Josh Jacobs and that regime they weren't getting along. After that, that's what we heard.
Look. See,
I'm gonna pull this up real quick. So after the Lions game, right?
After the Lions game.
Did he play after?
He played.
Okay, so he had. Okay, so Josh Jacobs had 98 yards. He basically had 100, but you know.
He had 100 because he had 100, then he lost 3. So he
lost some yards. It was like at the end of the game. Yeah, it was the end of the game.
That's a 100-yard game.
All right, against the Giants, he had 100, right? Against the Jets, he had 116. And then the loss against Miami, 39 yards. 14 carries, 39 yards. The win against Kansas City.
Trash. He didn't trash.
20 attempts. No, is this the loss? No, this is the loss against Kansas City. 20 carries, 110 yards. And then the 3-0 loss against the Minnesota. Everybody played trash. You lose a game 3-0, you're not playing. Nothing is going right. 13 carries, 34 yards, and that was the last time we seen the Josh Jacobs. And then from there, it was a Zamir White show.
What does Zamir White do this year?
Let's go. Let's look at Zamir White. So all I'm saying is, just put some respect on Josh Jacobs' name, man. I know.
Look. So what people will say is that, it's Josh McDaniels' fault, but they wasn't saying that the year before when he led the league in rushing. So it's, you can't move those goalposts. Like, it's Josh McDaniels. He didn't like Josh McDaniels, so why he wasn't playing well? Like, did he not like him the year before too? Like, was that he didn't like him that year either?
Okay,
so he led the league in rushing the year before. He had a fluke of a year because it was in the contract year. So he did his best. That's why I said don't pay him, because I don't pay people that are often injured and have their best year in contract years. I told him, if we pay him, we're going to regret it. What happened? He came out and he played like trash. He had -2 yards a game. Like the only player since like 1950 something to lead the league in rushing the year before, come back and have negative yards the next season. Like, he's a good player who had some solid to good years and had an elite year, and then came back and had a pretty bad year. I'm saying that Zamir White is going to be
his standards,
average.
by his standards.
Yeah, I'm saying Zamir White is going to be in.
But he was
average,
hurt though.
maybe.
He was hurt. Josh
He's
Jacobs
hurt every year. That's the problem. He's hurt every single
last
year.
year. He was hurt last year, and he was playing. He was playing just like everybody else was playing under a system under Josh McDaniels where no one was playing.
Bro, he led the league in rushing in that same system a year before. We can't use system as an excuse for him.
Yeah, but everybody's numbers
but him.
Everybody's numbers is better.
Everybody else but him, bro. He led the league in rushing in that same system.
But Derek Carr's numbers was better than the quarterbacks the year before. But where's Derek Carr?
He's better than those guys, though. Derek Carr is a better quarterback than them.
Right, but also, okay, Devontae Adams had a better year in 2022, but he didn't have as good as year in 2022 that he didn't.
Because he didn't have as good of a quarterback. He didn't have as good of a quarterback.
Okay, so does that have any? So does that have any effect on the run game? Not having better quarterback play, having quarterbacks that can't push the ball downfield. If you know you can't consistently beat one-on-one coverage, or if you got one box, you got a safety in the box, and you can't put a threat on the defense by throwing it deep consistently, or the defense doesn't trust you. They don't believe that you can beat them deep. You don't think has an effect on the run game?
So what you're saying is that Josh Jacobs is only effective if he's running against light boxes, is what you're telling me. That's what you're saying right now. So Josh Jacobs can't be effective unless he's running against light boxes. That's what you're telling me right now. So if that's the case, then it's just proving my point. If he needs light boxes to be effective, then
I'm not saying that. I didn't say that. We're just having a friendly conversation. We're just having a friendly conversation. All right, so let's go back to what's real. Oh, and actually, I put notable quotables. My bad. I had this on the screen the whole time, and y'all didn't say nothing. Severe didn't say nothing. The chat is probably going crazy right now. But Ville says Pittman was let's see. What is he saying? Pittman wasn't injured all year. He's not barely better. Yeah, Pittman's a better player. He's a better player.
He's a better player. He's barely better than Jacoby Myers, bro. He's barely better than Jacoby Myers. I've watched both. I've been watching Michael Pittman since he was at USC, bro.
All right, you know what? I look, Severe. I gotta do this now. Now I gotta look up. Jacoby Myers has never had 1,000 yards in a season. He's never had 1,000 yards in a season. Has he? I don't want to talk out my ass. I don't want to talk about. Look, I'm just gonna go ahead and check Jacoby Myers. I'm saying Jacoby Myers is a good player, good number 2 option when you have a Devontae Adams, but when he's by himself and the defense is keen on him,
is a solid number 1.
All right, so let's you know what I mean? Come on, man, look at this. So his best year was in 2021 where he caught 83 catches for 866 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like the focal point of that offense. He had to be. I mean, who I can't even think who was on that 2021. Maybe Hunter Henry, tight end. Was Nelson Aguilar probably playing on the team at that time? No, I think 2021 he was with the Raiders. He was with was he with the Raiders that year? 2021.
I think that was the year
I think he was. No, I think he left. He left after 2020. He left. He left. Yeah.
He left that year.
He left that year. So Aguilar was on that team. Some KJ Bourne, I think maybe Bourne. But look, at the end of the day, he was the focal point of that offense, and his best numbers were 83 catches.
He was their number 1 receiver, but he wasn't the focal point of the offense.
83 catches, 866 yards. So he was getting the majority of the targets. I would think.
I would agree with that.
You know what I mean? You're getting 83 catches, but my point is,
how many targets did he get that year?
Let me. I gotta go to. Good question. Let me go to Pro Football Reference here and see if I can get the targets. Let's see here. for 2021.
Yeah.
Targets, he had 126.
Okay. It's for 83, right?
His catch percentage was 65.9%.
65.9%. Okay.
He had 2 touchdowns.
He went a long ass time without even having a touchdown.
So look, I'm not hating on Jakobi Meyers. I think he's a good player, but there's a ceiling, in my opinion, with Jakobi. Now let's go to Michael Pittman.
There's definitely a ceiling with Jakobi.
You know what I mean? Let's go to Michael Pittman. You know what I mean? Because you saying that he's way, you know, it's close. I don't know if it's close.
I'm saying he's better, but he's not better than him by much.
2021, that same year, 2021, he had 88 catches, 1,082 yards, 6 touchdowns. In 2021, who was the starting quarterback? That's a trivia question for the chat real quick. Appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribing. Phillip Rivers? Old man Rivers? Was it Old Man Rivers?
Either it was Phillip Rivers or was it Matt Ryan? Did they have Matt Ryan? No, but Phillip Rivers, right? They never have Matt Ryan. Did they have Matt Ryan?
2021, because Matt Ryan was 2022 because we lost against the Colts. Remember, which Saturday. So I think it might have been Rivers. It might have been Rivers.
Oh.
It might have been Rivers.
Maybe Phillip.
Yeah, it might have been Old Man Rivers, man. He was with the Colts, I think, in 2021, and then he retired after that, I believe. But let us know if we're wrong in the chat. Make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. Just hit that like button so we keep coming back and doing this content, man. Hey, look, 88 catches, 1,082 yards, 6 touchdowns in 2021. In 2022, he had 99 catches, 925 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And this is the quarterback play has kind of been, it's shaky. It's shaky. And not to say that Jakobi Meyers didn't have that, but I'm just saying,
bro, don't talk about it.
Let's. But because I just so we can throw that out the window.
Who was his offensive coordinator?
In 2023, I mean 2022, Steichen didn't become a head coach until this last year.
No, I'm talking about who was Jakobi Meyers' offensive coordinator.
McDaniels, probably his first portion of the career.
His entire career.
But look. McDaniels with the Patriots was a productive OC. With the Patriots under Bill Belichick, I don't know why, I don't know how, somehow, some way, better OC than head coach, but not just better OC than head coach, better OC than head coach under Bill Belichick. That's where his success has come, and so Jakobi Meyers was playing under that. So I'm just saying.
So the point is that Michael Pittman is a mid-tier to lower tier number 1 wide receiver. Jakobi Meyers is a top tier number 2 wide receiver, probably top 10-ish number 2 receiver. And Michael Pittman is like a bottom 15-ish number 1.
Yeah. I'm not saying Pittman is one of the best number 1s, but Pittman is a number 1 for the Colts. He's a number 1 option. He's a
bottom 15-ish number 1.
He's seeing coverage rolled his way. You know what I mean? 2. Just by default, he's going to see the coverage. Like they're like defense coordinators are like, okay, this is your guy. We're going to try to take away this guy, and he's being productive. He's doing his thing. Is he better than Devontae Adams? No. Is he better than? You can name a few receivers that are better than him, but he's better than Jakobi Meyers.
I said he's better than Jakobi Myers. I didn't say he wasn't.
You said slightly better, man.
He's better than Jakobi Myers. He is better than Jakobi Myers.
Let's get to this super chat. Let's get this real quick. My guy, Raider Smoke 89 says, I agree with Severe. Raiders have way more talent, weapons on offense than the Colts. Last year, Minshew is in a better situation than the year for show. Yeah, weapons-wise, I agree. Yes, as weapons, but the system that AOC was playing in was not conducive for him to be successful at all. And no players really had success like that. No players outside of maybe Devontae Adams, possibly. I know he probably got his numbers, But even then, it was kind of like, it's like whatever, you know what I mean? Because we were so bad offensively, we couldn't put no points on the board. It didn't really matter. Zamir White later on in the year had some strong games. He had a couple of strong games rushing the ball, but offensively as a team, we weren't doing anything because our system, whatever, the McDaniels effect, it didn't work. We had a rookie OC. That's what my main argument is. It's not the weapons. It's more of the Raiders' system wasn't built for success. I think this year, it'll be better. You know, I think it'll be way better. On top of now, you're combining the weapons that we have. Oh man, now we could be a little bit more positive about how this could look offensively. Now the question is Lou Getsy the guy at OC? You know, maybe you got to look at it from this situation. Lou Getsy has nowhere. He has no choice but to be successful when he got this much weapons. You know what I mean? When you got the Brockbowers, when you got the Mayers, you got the Devontae Adams, the Jacoby Myers, and then we just added some pieces on the offensive line. Hey man, when you got that many weapons, you got that. Hey, look, it's gonna be. There's no way that the Raiders cannot succeed. I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna be better. I think it's gonna be better this year. I'm just saying last year was terrible. But I hear you. Weapons, I'm not arguing that. I'm not saying that the Colts had better weapons than the Raiders. I think me and Severe were just going at it as far as like who was a better receiver, Michael Pittman or Myers. And I was not gonna let it slide, man. I
said Pittman's a better player. He's not better by much. I stand firm on that. He's not better by much. He's a better player. I said that. I mean, he's barely better than him.
Nah,
I think if you put Jacoby in that same situation with those same quarterbacks, Jacoby is about as productive.
Oh no, come on, man.
Yeah, he's about as productive as he is.
Come on, man. All right, look, you know what? Let's look at like the year where he didn't have Phillip Rivers. Let's look at the year where he didn't have whatever quarterback, because he had Matt Ryan and I forgot who was the other quarterback that was backing up Matt Ryan.
All of those guys were better than who did Jacoby have? He had Mac Jones, who just got traded for a 6th-round
Matt
pick.
Ryan was ass. I'm not afraid to say it. Matt Ryan was trash. Matt Ryan was trash. He was trash.
Better than
he was trash. His last year with the Colts, he was terrible. And guess what? The Raiders lost against him. Yeah. And in a game that the Raiders should have won like easily. You know what I mean? And Matt Ryan was the starter, and we're like rejoicing, like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a game that we could easily win.
I remember Matt Ryan. I think he had like a 20-yard run or something crazy like
man,
that.
That was terrible. But I'm just
saying.
But
at the end of the day, we have better weapons than the Colts have last year, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now I've said only position where we're lower, I would say is going to be our starting running back, and then because our offensive line. But wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, tight end, we're better everywhere. The only place where we're not as good is the offensive line, and then of course Shane Steichen, he's one of the best offensive minds in the league. So I think we're kind of be inferior there, but other than that, I think we have way better weapons.
Yeah. And my guy Raider Room says Gardner had 34 attempts for 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think he's talking about his rushing.
Gardner Minshew? Yeah. That's an extra 3 touchdowns right there.
So we didn't even actually answer what's real, what's not. So do the Raiders have more rushing yards?
Did I answer it? No, I didn't. I believe we do. I believe that, especially if Gardner Minshew is a quarterback, because I think, that extra 100 yards, I think that's going to add to the total. I don't think, I don't know if Aiden O'Connell will run enough to get to make an impact. He might end the year with 20-something yards, 30-something yards, something like that. But I think the extra 100, I think that'll add on to the pot. I think that Madison is in a better role as a number 2, and I think that we'll get some production out of either Lobby or out of Amir Abdullah. So I think we run for like 2150 next year.
Man, AJ Simpson's man. Like I want to get into the chat because I know y'all going crazy over here. AJ Simpson says I would argue that the play calling matters more because I can give you the same ingredients I have or better, but our meals will taste different. The chef matters, man. Yeah, I agree, man. Because we seen it. We're like we were so excited that we have all these weapons, and we literally seen a season where we're like, wow, we can't score. And we got Devontae, we got Jacoby, we got Michael Mayer, we got Josh Jacobs, we got Zamir, you got whoever the guy that you believe in, we had, but the system, the play calling wasn't there. And it didn't matter that Josh McDaniels got fired. It still was more of the same, maybe slightly better. But we literally lost a 3-0 game in that latter part of the season. And it's still, like, play calling is huge, man. It's a big part. I mean, you got to have the talent. Don't get twisted. But play calling. Because I remember.
I mean, but what people, and that's the thing that people that never play football, they look at, everything is black and white for them. Did this play do good or did this play do bad? If the play did bad, it's a bad play call. If the play did good, it's a good play call. Like 75% of the time, it's execution. How well do you execute the play that is called? And that is something that we consistently did not do well, was executing the play. There were some issues with play calling, definitely. Especially when we first had Aiden O'Connell in there. But a lot of our issues were with play execution. You think about the number one thing that comes to mind is when Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow are running into each other against the Chiefs. That's the issue with play execution. That wasn't a bad play call. There's just two guys who didn't execute the play correctly. We've seen that time and time again where there's just bad play execution. So, I mean, like, it's not all black and white.
Yeah, I understand it's not all black and white, but when you get to the nitty gritty and you look at, like, all right, where does it all start? You talk about player execution, and you also talk about, man, we have all this talent, because earlier you were talking about all this talent that the Raiders have, but then you also talk about, you know, what's 75% of the reason why a play didn't happen was execution. Where does that start with? I understand that's players
coaching.
have to.
No, so that's definitely coaching. So but that's my point though. So you don't point to play calling. That's poor coaching, definitely. So that's not execution. That's just poor coaching.
I think we can all. I think AJ Simpson and I think me and him are like on the same page when I think we can all agree, like, when we talk about the play calling, we're also talking about the coaching as well. We're not just saying just the play call. We're not just saying, oh, he should have called this play at this time.
They're talking about play calling. That's what they always do. They're talking about play calling. If you're talking about bad coaching, that was definitely an issue. And that was definitely an issue where Josh McDaniels wasn't good enough at conveying his message in a manner that was conducive to success. He coached hard, but he didn't coach effectively. And there's a difference. That's something he didn't understand. That's something that Max didn't mind, Devontae didn't mind, but, you know, there were other people on the team that minded how he coached because he coached hard, too hard, you know. So, but his coaching wasn't effective enough at, you know, getting people to execute properly, and that's on Josh McDaniels. But, you know, don't point to play calling. We had game specific, and that's another reason. We had game specific game plans or opponent specific game plans for each opponent that we played against to attack their weaknesses. Now, Josh McDaniels didn't do a good enough job on the install or having the guys ready on game day, but it wasn't about the play calling. It was more so about the execution of the play, which at the end of the day, that falls on his ability to install it and to coach it properly.
Yeah, but when I mention play calling, when I'm mentioning the players, the system, I'm literally talking about coaching. I'm literally talking about the guys that are like literally leading the locker room. It just didn't work because we're not questioning the talent of Devontae Adams. Because when you talk about like, oh well, you know, AOC had all these weapons. That when you say all that, we're not questioning. We're not questioning Devontae Adams when you say that. We're not questioning Jacoby Myers. We're not questioning all the weapons that we have on offense. But we're questioning is that whole offensive system did not work. The players did not catch on quick enough. They didn't take to Josh McDaniels coaching. And when when you're like literally halfway through the season it's kind of too late. There's no way you could kind of salvage the offense. Like if it's done, it's done. Like they try to bring in Bo Hardgree, and he could only work with what he got. It's not like he can install his offense. So even Bo, he was kind of dealt like a messed up hand because he could only run the offense that Josh McDaniels kind of had in place. It wasn't his offensive system. It wasn't his. He had to work with what he got. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, at the end of the day, like, I agree with you, but it's just, I think AJ, me and AJ on the same page, man. It's not just play calling, but I think we're putting everything together. It's play calling, it's coaching, because I'd say, all right, like with John Gruden, do you think it was coaching or play calling with him?
Him, it was a little bit of both, but him, I think between the 20s, he was a good play caller. I think once he got to the goal line situations, his play calling kind of fell off. But part of that, that's something he struggled with his whole career. But part of that could also be Derek Carr.
Short yardage,
never a good quarterback.
Short yardage and red zone. Short yardage and red zone for sure. He struggled. But
part of that was Derek Carr struggled there too. Gruden struggled there early in his career as well, though. So that we can't put it all on Derek Carr. But Derek Carr, he's also always a guy that struggled in the red zone.
Yeah. My guy won in the building, man. AOC is trash. I'm sorry. Please name another team where AOC can start. I don't see the huge upside with them. He's a 10-year backup, in my opinion, upside included, which isn't bad. Hey, man, it is what it is. He's on the team, and that's what we got. That's what we got, man. Yeah. If you've been watching us long enough, you knew that we were trying to get a quarterback this year. You were actually the guy that was saying not to draft a quarterback this year. I remember that. You left a comment. I read the comments, and I remember you saying that you didn't want to get a quarterback this year. You wanted the Raiders to actually build the talent on the roster and go all in on the draft next year as far as getting a quarterback. So everything is kind of working in your favor, Everything's working out in your favor, man. So, because if, it is what it is. Mike, hey, OG in the building. He says Gardner's 15 and 22. The last 5 years, AOC is a better choice. Hey, look, we'll see. He's kind of, it's hard to, I get you, man. I hope it's AOC. You would think that a second year player could go in and, have bigger upside and be able to take this spot. But if Minshew's the guy, I'm all in on Minshew. I'm just letting you know. I just want to let y'all know. If Minshew's the guy, I'm not going to be one of those guys that's, oh, man, AOC's not the guy. Why? What are they thinking? What are they doing? Nah, let the best man win. Let the best man win. That's how I feel about it, man.
I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah, man. Oh, my God, man. Raiders Smoke 89. Appreciate the super chat, man. Hey, man, this guy, man, I appreciate you, man. He says Gannon was cheeks before he came to the Raiders. With the right spot and weapons, you never know. Minshew could be balling out. We don't know his ceiling. True.
We don't. We don't know AOC's either. We don't know AOC's either. So AOC. This is why we get the chance to battle it out, right? Those guys are going to camp. They're basically on equal footing right now. I think AOC may have a little bit of advantage just because he probably has some built-in chemistry with some of the guys. But other than that, it's a clean slate for both guys. So they'll battle it out and may the best man win.
Hey, what's a bigger question mark? And I could see, and you can make an argument for both. But what's a bigger question mark, running back or QB?
QB.
But do you feel like there's a question mark at running back at all?
I think there's a question mark there's not a question mark of whether Zamir or not can be productive or not. We've seen him be extremely productive. We've seen him be productive in the most stressful situations, right? In the situation where you're facing one of the top defenses in the league, your quarterback hasn't completed a pass for 3 quarters, and we need to put the game in your hands to win it. And he was able to execute. I don't think we've really seen outside of one game where AOC was really productive, and that when we played the Chargers. Other than that, he was mostly up and down. Zamir White, once he got the opportunity to play, he was pretty consistent over those last games.
Real Men Wear Black says the Vikings game showed me everything I need to know about. Hey, man. Watching a 3-0 game, I'm not going to lie, that was disgusting. That was like one of the worst games I've ever seen. Like, just, it was bad in the fact that, like, 3-0. Like, it's like, how can a game be lost like 3-0? It's 0-0 most of the game, and then they scored 3 points, and it be so far away. We could have scored. We couldn't score at least 3 points, 7 points to win a game. Something, 6 points. Man, that was a tough game to watch, man. Tough game to watch. But I hear your frustrations with that game, but it's kind of unfair to AOC because there's so many different factors. And now, like, hey, look, at the end of the day, like, it's a competition. You heard Telesco, you heard AP. They're all in on their guys. Early, if you've been watching us long enough, we've been on for a little bit, and we probably gonna head out in a little bit. But look, earlier in the show, we talked about Jared Goff receiving a 4-year, $200+ million contract. They're all in on Jared Goff, which means a guy like Hendon Hooker, who the year prior was a quarterback that a lot of people liked coming out, but he was just hurt. So are you guys entertaining that? I mean, earlier we put out a chat. I think the majority of you guys said the Raiders should definitely entertain and trade for Hendon Hooker, but there was quite a few of y'all just saying that no, the Raiders should stay put, go with the guys that they already have, or go with a different option. But I like Hendon Hooker, man. He gives you mobility. He has a good arm. Coming out, they talked about his accuracy throwing downfield. It is what it is.
Look, I would say this, bro. I would say this. I mean, I like Hendon Hooker too. I would say this though. There's a lot of people that be trying to compare Aiden O'Connell to Jared Goff. I'm asking y'all people that be trying to say Aiden O'Connell is Jared Goff. Are you paying Jared Goff? Are you paying Aiden O'Connell? What was like 170 something guaranteed for $200 million over 4? Are you giving Aiden O'Connell that contract for people that want to compare Aiden O'Connell to Jared Goff?
Not right now. Like I wouldn't. I don't know where you could even say you could answer that question with confidence and say, yeah, we should give him that contract. But that's a weird comparison. I don't see. I don't see.
I don't see it. I don't see it either. But there are a lot of people that are Raider fans that try to say Aiden O'Connell is Jared Goff, or he's going to be like Jared Goff, or as good as Jared Goff. I don't see it. I think Aiden O'Connell he's closer to Kerry Collins than Jared Goff.
Man, this has been we've been on for a minute. We gotta wrap it up. We got a little carried away today, man. We just had to
wrap that up, B.
Watch Raiders says we just need around 600 yards, and the rest gonna be Madison and etc. It's a committee, bro. That's why they ain't signed Jacobs. Yeah. We'll see though, man. But like, it's just who's gonna give those other yards though. Like you got Zamir, right? You got Zamir. Are you saying? Oh, hold up, Watts. Are you saying Zamir is going to get 600 yards?
Yeah, I think Zamir got like 451 in like very limited play time last year.
The entire season, a 17-game season, 600 yards. Yeah. That's pretty bad.
I think he can go for 11 or 12. I think he'll go for, if he stays healthy, he'll go for 11 or 1200.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really hard to get 1,000 yards in today's NFL. Like. Especially 17-game season,
that's like 70 yards a game or something like that. So it's not a lot of yards per game.
It's not, man. You got to look at like the quality of those yards. How much is he averaging? How many yards carry he's averaging? I also look at rushing touchdowns, how effective he is in the red zone. Also, you got to look at like is he versatile? Is he giving you catches? As far as like his is he receiver out the backfield? Like. There's a lot of different ways you can look at how effective the running back was, how effective a running back can be for the offense. Especially today's NFL, like they want the running backs to catch out the backfield. They want them to block, like. Yeah. So, I don't know. Do the Raiders rush for 2,000 yards? I don't know, man. I got him
2,150, 2,150 yards for the Raiders next year.
2,150. Was Zamir White getting 600 of those yards?
No, hell no. I got Zamir White going for like 11 or 12. That's watch. I don't look. If Zamir White go for 600 yards, bro, we are in for a long season. That means that either Madison turn into our number one back, or we putting the ball completely in the hands of AOC and Gardner Minshew, which is not a situation I want for either one of those guys. So I agree with that statement. Yeah, I think Zamir White going for like 11 or 12.
Okay, a lot of people agreeing with you. I mean, Marty Mart saying that I would take the over. Watts again saying it's a committee now, bro. That's why that's it. White can total 20 carries, but we have multiple backs. But outside of Zamir and then Madison, it's kind of, we don't know really who's gonna be like have a prominent role. I mean, Amir Abdullah is coming back. Dylan Lobby, he's a rookie, so you don't know. Like, it can go either way. Yeah, we don't know. I can't guarantee. Even though I can like a guy like Dylan Lobby, but I don't know how the coaches are gonna view him, how well he takes to the offense, and how well he plays in training. You know, it's hard to say. We just know Madison and Zamir, we can say possibly. Even Madison, though, they didn't commit too much money where they can't cut him. It's a possibility. Yeah. You know, but who knows?
I mean, Lobby's my guy, man. Lobby's my guy. So I'm hoping he gets the start over Amir. I'm hoping he gets, I hope he gets the runtime over Zamir. Over Amir, not Zamir. Over Amir Abdullah. And I hope he's able to make an impact year one. I mean, I like what he does as a receiver out of the backfield. I think he could tote the rock a little bit too. So I think he can make an impact. I've been saying forever, and I said before he made an impact last year that Zamir was going to be a guy that as soon as he got an opportunity, he was going to ball out. And that's exactly what he did. And I think Madison, in a reserve role, can be a solid backup.
I think this is earlier Watts saying over 400 carries, though, to win the rushing title. But that's what it is, though.
Yeah.
That's how that, if you look at a lot of the running backs that win the rushing title or have a big time rushing year, they get a lot of carries. They get a lot of carries, man. Look no further, and I'm not comparing the two, but look no further to Henry, that formerly of the Tennessee Titans. You know what I mean? Like, he got the ball a lot, which wasn't a bad idea. He was productive with it. He's now with the Baltimore Ravens, but that's just, it is what it is, man. Yeah, but not every running back can get 400 carries and be productive with it, though.
Yeah.
That's true. And stay healthy enough, too, for that, too. Be honest.
That was the only year Josh Jacobs played every single game. And he had his best year. Then the very next year, he's hurt again. So...
yeah, and you probably all them carries too, and it didn't help that he was
getting hurt before all them carries though.
You said it again.
He was getting hurt before all those carries. That's my point. His contract year is only year he bought out. He was hoping to cash in, and then he didn't cash in. So as soon as he didn't cash in, I don't know if he withheld effort or what he did, but as soon as he didn't cash in on what he thought he was going to cash in, he kind of fell off.
All right, Watts Raider, man, my guy Watts, man, one of the Raider content creators have been doing it.
One of the OGs, man.
The OGs of the game. He says, bruh, teams always blitz a safety when we had Jacobs. Yeah.
Nah, man. I looked at the advanced statistics. He faced about the same number of loaded boxes as Zamir did, or about the same number of 8-man fronts as Zamir did. I checked the stats. So that was
like last year. Last year.
Yep, I checked the stats on that.
I mean, but
you can check next gen stats if you want. If you don't believe me, but yeah, I checked the stats already. So if you want to check them,
he said Jacoby's explosive. Man, explosive and Jacoby, I don't know. That's pretty strong, man.
So even in our best year, right?
Man, Carson Wentz with the Colts. Was he? Yeah.
Did he start?
Oh, it might have been that year. It might have been that year. You know what?
Oh, that's the year. You know what? Yes. That's the year they should have went to the playoffs too. That's the year Carson Wentz had a pretty good year that year, actually.
Yeah, Save B. Larry. Might be. Hey, you're right. 2021, because that was the year the Raiders beat the Colts.
That's the year. That's the year the Colts had to. All they had to do was win like one game down the stretch to go to the playoffs, and they ended up losing.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is trash too. And by the way, Carson Wentz is trash. He's trash too. He's trash.
Yeah, he had a pretty good year that year though. Actually,
Yeah, but he's trash.
He's trash. But yeah, he had a solid year that year.
He's trash. Come and that speaks more to Pittman. Just like, come on, man. Yeah, like,
okay, who's better, Carson Wentz or Mac Jones?
Oh.
Exactly. I rest my case.
Hey, that year,
come on, bro. You want to pull up the stats on that year? Carson Wentz didn't have a bad year that year.
Yeah, but it wasn't about stats though, man. Like I don't know, man. I'm not a Carson Wentz guy. I'm not a
Carson Wentz guy either. I've been one of the main people saying he was trash for years, but he's better than Mac Jones.
SoCal Sal's and we're just catching up with the chat. SoCal Myers is a great number 2 receiver. Yeah, he's a good number 2 receiver. I'm not doubting that for sure. But the argument was who was better, Pittman Jr. or Myers. And it's like you're arguing a guy that's a number 1 with a guy that's a perfect number 2. Yeah, and exactly. maybe you can argue Pittman might be in a like if maybe Pittman could be a great number 2. Lower end number 1. Great number 2.
I think he'd be a better number 2 than he would be number 1. But so he's a solid number 1.
Yeah, he's a lower end number 1, great number 2. And then I say with Myers, he's a number 2. He's a good number 2. Let's see. Myers is good, bro. Man, man. We not getting on Myers, man.
Yeah.
Adams is our top receiver. He's unguardable.
Yeah. I mean, Myers bailed us out a lot of games last year when we couldn't get the ball to Devontae. You know, it was the guy. Myers was killing. Like, we want to know how bad the quarterbacks were for Jacoby Myers. I think you had stats. I think he had like 800 something yards was his best year, right? Mm-hmm. Like 876 or something, was it his best year? He had like 801 last year as a number 2. That's how bad the quarterback play was for the teams he was playing.
Yeah.
So he had so his best year with those quarterbacks, he only had 75 more yards than him being the number 2 receiver with us.
His best year?
Yes.
It
was like 876, right? So as a number 1. So as being our number 2, he had more than 800 yards last year because the quarterback play was horrible. And they were a running team. That team was top 10 in rushing every year he was there. In Josh Jacobs' best year, when he put up 1,600 yards, we were still 17th or 18th in rushing as a team. That's with Josh Jacobs leading the league in rushing.
Yeah, but that's just the fact that we had what we had. I mean, I think Josh Jacobs is a good running back. But, look, I'm not arguing. I'm not saying that Kobe Myers is not a good player. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Pittman is better. I'm just saying Pittman's better.
Yeah, I agree. Barely.
Yeah, I think you're waiting until the first game to say that Zamir White is way better than Jacobs if you're not saying it already. I can see it on your face.
I think Jacobs is a better player than Zamir White. I just think that Zamir White is going to be more effective by virtue of not only the system, but I don't think that Zamir White is only out there for a contract. I think Josh Jacobs was making business decisions. And as soon as it benefited him, he went out there and he balled out. But as soon as it wasn't in his best interest or he didn't feel that he was compensated like he felt he should be compensated, then I felt there was some effort withheld. He didn't come to camp, or he didn't show up to camp. He didn't show up to the season in shape either. So I think that I don't think we have to worry about that from Zamir White. We see what Zamir White's doing. Right. The videos was out there. What Zamir White is doing this offseason. So
Zamir, huge opportunity for Zamir White. Like, this is a big time opportunity. This is his time. You know what I mean? He was drafted in the 4th round in 2022. And like, he's been waiting, and this has been, hey, look, he played well down the stretch last year. He had a big time game against KC in KC. Like, he was our offense. He was the Raiders' offense, and eventually they won that game in KC. So that was a big time win, and he was a big part of that offense that won. Obviously, it was a defensive game, but offensively, he was the MVP on offense. So yeah, I could believe that he's gonna go all in this offseason. He should, because this is gonna make or break him. Like, if he doesn't do it, then they're gonna be looking for a replacement next year. They're gonna be looking for a replacement if he doesn't play well. But How's Junkie says Getsy's a question mark is the question mark to be determined. Go Raiders. Yeah, Getsy's a question. For sure.
Yeah, I mean,
like, that's one of the many questions. Is we got a question about quarterback. You can question the running back room. You can question obviously coaching too, offensively. That offensive side of the football, as much weapons as we have, we've gone into the season being confident about, oh man, we got so many weapons, and it not working out. Now we got to look at it deeper and be like, all right, what's the plan on offense? Like, how is this going to look? Yeah. And I know some guys in the chat said, oh, Getsy has experience running a two tight end set in Green Bay, but was he the guy calling the shots? Was he calling the plays?
I'm
not sure if he was.
Edgar Bennett was. Oh well, it would have been McCarthy probably, but Edgar Bennett was offensive coordinator at the time, and then McCarthy would have been the play caller. His first thing, his second go around, he was there. He was quarterback's coach, and I think he was there with LaFleur, so LaFleur would have been calling the plays. So.
Yeah, man. But hey, man, this has been.
This has been a barn. This has been the Lord of the Rings version of the 50-50 show.
Hey,
bro.
man, this is
the director's cut.
What, man, y'all? Hey, look, man. If y'all ever question how much we love the Raiders, man, love talking football, love just doing the 50-50 show every Monday, man. Y'all seen it here, man. We just did a 3-hour show. We don't go on for 3 hours, man. I think when we were doing the draft, we did a 4-hour draft show, and that was like, man, that was crazy for us to do that. So for us to just do a randomly unplanned, usually planned 50-50 show. Earlier we had shout out to Raider Rundown and coming through. He came through, and we had a conversation with him, and we had a great conversation with everybody, man. But I say all that to say, make sure to hit that like button, y'all, man. Hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. Shows your support. We're going live on both our channels, on the Severe Raiders channel. Let me go ahead and put that on the screen so y'all can see. At the Severe Raider. Make sure if y'all haven't subscribed, hit the like button on his channel. Make sure to head over to his channels, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. What that does is it'll notify you the next time we go live or drop any new content. The next time we have some new content this week, we'll have a show be released on Thursday. Our guy the return of Big Mike this week. Is he out of town still? We gotta check in with Big Mike, man. So be on the lookout for that. We're gonna have a show. Yes, sir. And hey, just like Raider Rundown mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're also gonna be looking at the schedule being released this week, which is gonna be released on Wednesday. So we'll be able to look at that, look at each game and see. And you know what? We can go. Should we do a schedule? Should we do a prediction? It's early. I know. I get it. It's the off season, but let's talk about it, man. That's why we're here. We want to have this conversation. So let's see if we can go through each game and see, like, you know what, if we're playing at home, on the road at this time of year, let's see if this is going to be a win or W. We're going to go through all of that Wednesday when the schedule gets released, and be on the lookout for the show. It's going to be released on Thursday. So we'll be able to at least get through the schedule and then release it on Thursday. And hopefully Big Mike makes his return this week, so we'll be able to talk to him and his thoughts as far as what's going on with the Raiders. But yeah, man, we appreciate everybody coming through, man. This has been a great show. 3 hours,
Shout out
man.
To the chat, man. The chat was holding it down, man. The chat was holding it down big time.
They were holding it down, man. Shout out to y'all, man. 3-hour show. Like I said, we don't usually do this. Usually our show is an hour and a half tops. Yeah. But man, 3 hours, man. We gave y'all 3 hours today, man. We really wanted to talk some football. We just naturally had a conversation. I looked up, I'm like, oh damn, like it's 2 hours and 45 minutes right now. Now it's pretty much 3 hours. So Look,
man.
make sure to hit that like button. I know, hey, if you guys are viewing this vertically, the like button will not be available to y'all for some reason on the screen. So at the top right, there's going to be 3 dots. You just click on it and hit the like button. That's all you got to do. Click on that 3 dots and then hit the like button. If you see the like button in front of you, just hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. We appreciate everybody coming through. We appreciate everybody leaving a chat. Shout out to Watch Raider, man. OG the game, man. Stopping by, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, man, like, hey, look, any last thoughts, man, that you want to let the people know, man? Let me put my stuff on here too, man. I got to show my stuff too, man. But yeah, just if you any last thoughts on that you want to leave with Raider Nation?
Nah, man. Just once again, just want to shout out to the chat, man. You guys were doing your thing in the game today, man. Really appreciate it. You know, y'all are an integral part of the show, man. So we you know, appreciate all the content, all the love y'all be showing in the chat. You know, show some of that love in the comment section as well. I want to say I did see somebody say there was a very interesting article about Justin Fields being toxic. So as soon as we get off, I'm gonna read that thing. But other than that, man, yeah, man, you know, stay tuned. You know, some big things coming up. We got the schedule release coming. Then we got OTA is going to be right around the corner. Training camp right after that. And then, you know, preseason is right after that, man. So hang in tight with your boys. Hit them notifications. Make sure y'all get down in the comment section. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. And we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, no doubt. Marty Marsh says, did Pharaoh say O.J. Simpson? No, I didn't say O.J. Simpson, but he said Tom Brady roast was hilarious, by the way. Man, yeah, I seen a little bit of it, man. It's hilarious, man. It was funny as hell. Jeff Ross, you know, he's always at those roasts too as well. Like, he's like the king of those comedy roasts. But yeah, I got to finish it, man, because not everybody's built for the roast. Not everybody's built for the roast. So I was like trying to get through some of the people. Like, it was like generic. Like Randy Moss, I think I turned it off at Randy Moss. I was like,
I think Raider Smoke said he sent a chat. I think we miss it?
Oh yeah, my bad. Hey, Raider Smoke, I got you. We gonna get through it right now. Appreciate you for reminding us. My guy Raider Smoke, man. Man, this is how you show love, man. This is how you show support to the channel, man. Man, I appreciate you, my guy. Let's see right here. What he got for us right here? Raider Smoke. He says, I was in the black hole when we had Jamarcus and we lost 42-0. Oh man, damn. Man. I remember those were the dark years. You talking about the mid
Was that the Eagles game? Was that the Eagles game when Nick Foles put up? Was that the Eagles game? I can't remember.
Might have been
was that the Niners game? I remember the Niners.
I remember we got I know we got skunked by the Seahawks. I remember we got skunked. But I seen some terrible games, man. As a Raider fan, I want to see some winning. I want to see some championships. I want to see some playoff football. Man, there's nothing like playoff.
You know what's
football,
bad? Man. You know what's bad is that somebody says I was at the game when we lost 42-0, and we can't think of which one. That's yo, bro. We're like, dang, which game was that?
Damn, that is sad. Because look, we can go back. Remember the Saints game with Derek Carr? We couldn't get past the 40-yard line. We got skunked there too. It is what it is, man. Look, we're hoping this year is gonna be better. But he goes on to say it could be worse. Laugh out loud. We can all agree that whoever is QB, we're riding with. Yeah, for sure, no doubt. Yeah, that's facts. 100% facts, man. And that's what we said to end that whole discussion was the fact that like whoever is at the quarterback, no matter what, like let the best man win. We're just speculating right now.
Baby.
Yeah, we're just trying to predict, you know, like what's actually going to happen when it's all said and done. I'm thinking AOC is the guy if he puts his best foot forward. I think AOC can be the guy. If it's close, I'm leaning towards AOC. But obviously, if it's Minshew, there's no reason to put AOC out there. Like, what's the point? Like, you know, especially if AP's job on the line. That's one thing to consider too. I keep bringing that up, and y'all need to understand, like, he's coaching for his job. Yeah. If he doesn't have long-term commitment from Mark Davis, you got to believe that, like, you know, he's gonna do whatever it takes to win, and that's a good situation for the Raiders. But for him, he's going to put the best man out there no matter what. That's a guarantee for sure. But like I said, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. It's been a great show. Make sure I keep forgetting to say this, but the right way to say this is make sure to clock in, hit that like button on the way out, clock out at this point, clock out by hitting the like button, hit that subscribe button, hitting that notification bell. We appreciate everybody coming through. It's been a great show. Be on the lookout for another show this week on Thursday. We'll be talking about the schedule release, everything Raider related, all the latest news about the Raiders, man. And, man, we did a record 50-50 show, 3 hours, man. 3 hours,
yes,
man.
Sir, yes, sir. You guys are witnessing history.
Yeah, we witness history. Did someone in the chat say something about Justin Fields? Like, what happened? Like, did something?
I think there's an article saying like he was toxic when he was in Chicago, or something like that.
All right, I gotta look into that. It depends on who it's coming from, man. If it's from I don't even want to say it because it's too obvious. Look. You already know what I'm about to say.
From my boy Rajon.
Rajon, man. My Rajon. Boy, if it's from Rajon, I don't know. All right, y'all, man. Hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through, man. We about to head out here, man. All right, man. Take care. Peace.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.